Good evening and welcome to Green Bay and night 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft presented by Courtyard by Marriott. We are in a city unlike any other in sports, and last night we got a first round, the likes of which we seldom see. We had fireworks at the top, and we had plenty more at the bottom, and huge names still waiting to be called as we reach this day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft. We had 205,000 fans here last night. Tonight, some of the names we expect to hear called: Tyler Shough, quarterback, Louisville, 25 years old, almost 26, but looks the part in every conceivable way. Mike Green, outstanding pass rusher from Marshall. Many surprised he wasn't drafted last night. When will he hear his name called? How about the speedy running back from Ohio State, Travion Henderson? Shades, perhaps, of Jahmyr Gibbs. Perhaps he'd be the first name that we hear called tonight. And then there's Quinn Ewers, quarterback, Texas. One of the wild cards in the quarterback conversation. Always such a big part of all of the draft conversation. The Titans got it all started last night. The Browns will get it started with round 2, pick 1, number 33 overall, after the commissioner puts them on the clock in just a few moments. Here inside the draft theater in the shadow of Lambeau Field, the most historic stadium in all of the National Football League. Welcome, everybody, to our coverage tonight. I'm Greeny, that's Lewis, that's Booger, and that is the man who invented the draft, Mel Kiper Jr. Mel, give us a look at what we are expecting tonight as we get round 2 underway.
A lot of fun, because a lot of these players, when they talk about Greeny, could have been first-round picks, and nobody would have had an argument with some of the names you're going to see still on the board right now. Day 2 of the National Football League draft. And I think when you look at where we are right now, injuries were obviously a factor with some of these players. Obviously, you go through interview process, off the field issues there in play. Reason why players that have a ton of talent slide down into the 2nd or 3rd round. Then it becomes a palatable point in the draft where you can bring them into the fold. And you are rolling a dice that they'll get everything together. They'll come back to those injuries, get to 100%, obviously clean up some things they need to work on, and become really good finds in the 2nd round.
But we'll have the commissioner coming up in just a few seconds. I'll remind you that Cleveland has the first pick tonight, followed by the Texans in a trade made with the Giants, then Tennessee, then Cleveland will pick again, then we will have the Raiders. Where will the first quarterback go in this mix? That is really a big part of the question. Circle number 40, that's New Orleans with the 8th pick tonight. The Saints, a team, many questions about their starter in Derek Carr. Will he be back this coming year? So that could be a spot where we get the quarterback. There's a lot of activity up on the stage. The band has been loud and ready. The fans are warmed up and are ready to go. Looks like the rain has worn down, and the commissioner is set to get this party started in Green Bay.
What's this reaction? Let's go, Green Bay. You ready? Round 2. Last night, over 200,000 fans were here, and millions more watched from around the world as we welcome another 32 great stars into the NFL. And tonight, I'm joined by 32 players and legends who will select the next generation of stars to the NFL. Welcome them. These players represent the 2000 draft class on its 25th anniversary, one of the greatest classes in history. That draft brought us the first and only time a club had 4 first-round draft picks, 12 All-Pros, 28 Pro Bowlers, 1 Hall of Famer, and a quarterback who has become known as the GOAT. Yeah, you know him. Also on the stage, we have players from Wisconsin to represent this great state and great city. Green Bay, are you ready for round 2? Unbelievable, great to see you are. Round 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft is officially open. The Cleveland Browns are now on the clock.
And with those magic words, we get this night underway. A reminder, the Browns originally had the second pick in last night's round one. They wound up making the stunning trade while on the clock. Jacksonville moving up to take the Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, and the Browns moving down to the fifth slot where they selected defensive tackle Mason Graham out of Michigan, an outstanding player. I know a lot of people believe the Browns did extraordinarily well there. So, Mel, the always critical first pick of the second round, what are you looking at here for Cleveland?
33 and 36, bringing that pick from Jacksonville. When you think about the offensive side of the ball, you get Mason Graham, defensive tackle, to collapse the interior of that pocket and have Myles Garrett coming off the edge in that wide nine. But you have quarterback issue right now. Kenny Pickett right now is penciled in as the starting quarterback. You have a running back issue as well. Wide receiver Jerry Jeudy needs some help there. So quarterback, running back, wide receiver are the big need areas for the Cleveland Browns. Picked twice in the early portion of round two. You have some good football players. We talked about the receivers. Henderson, a dynamic game breaker out of Ohio State. Got a lot of help from Judkins coming from Ole Miss to take some of that workload away from a guy like Henderson, who stayed healthy this year. Durability was a concern, but Judkins helped him out in that area. You think about the ability to block, he can do it. Game breaker, great receiver out of the backfield. So there's wide receivers, there's running back, and certainly the quarterback position. What direction did the Cleveland Browns go with these two picks to try to make sure that, hey, we get the two guys that are going to be the framework and the foundation of this football team moving forward? Is it in fact a quarterback? Remember, they get an extra first-round pick next year. Yeah. That's a quarterback-heavy group next year. We'll have to see what Arch Manning does. Got Drew Allen at Penn State, and a host of other quarterbacks. We're going to go high, but do they identify a quarterback? I'm sitting here thinking, Shador Sanders, you think Tyler Shough? The quarterbacks are there, but there are running backs and there are wide receivers that can help this football team.
Yeah, you really do like the backs in particular. Like, they need some shoots. They need a certain profile of back, right? I mean, you need guys who can rip off explosive plays, and there's a bunch of them at running back sitting right here. I mean, this is the sweet spot for running back. Obviously, the quarterback discussion is going to be one we're going to have all night long, and it's going to go beyond Shador Sanders. Because, look, Tyler Shough is a real name now. This is a real quarterback, so it's going to be interesting to watch him as well. Look, offensive line is still a position that they need to address, especially the tackle position where they need to lock it down. They don't really have the kind of people that they can count on from a durability standpoint right now at the tackle spot. So look, they have some options here. There's some really good players on the board. These first 10 picks are going to be interesting as heck, because there are some teams that need quarterbacks, and there are some fantastic wide receivers, running back, pass rushers, corners, safety. You've got a lot of good-looking players, and Andrew Berry has his pick of the litter to start it off.
I would just add to that, wide receiver would be one. But what about an edge rusher? Talk about Myles Garrett, who's a dominant player in this league. He needs a running mate. He needs somebody on the other side. I understand you got Mason Graham to push the pocket, but you need someone on the other side, and there's some talented edge rusher. The guy that led the FBS in sacks last year, Mike Green, is there. Donovan Ezeiruaku, guy from BC, who I love his pass rush toolbox. He's got an array of moves. So if you're looking to fortify defense, that you're probably going to have to count on a lot to win some ball games until that offense comes along, I would love to get Myles Garrett a running mate.
For what it is worth, this pick, the 33rd pick, is Cleveland's natural second-round pick. They will select again in just about a half an hour. The pick that they got at 36 is the one they got in the trade with Jacksonville yesterday. And so many different question marks here. And as you mentioned, Mel, a lot of strategy involved having the pick here and then another one at 36. You get the two players, you figure out which one you feel you need to make more urgently so as not to lose him.
Yeah, Houston and Tennessee between them, but you can jump in there if they see a quarterback that they like ahead of that next pick at 36. So it's strategic now for the Cleveland Browns, and certainly the offensive side of the ball. Something you thought about Travis Hunter, they passed on to take Mason Graham to help that defense, right? Stewart likes that wide nine, obviously. It's never had really somebody opposite Myles Garrett, as Cook suggested, but I look at that wide receiver position, wherever the quarterback is, wide receiver and a game-breaking running back against the offensive line. But they got a lot of work to do on that side of the ball. As I said, right now, Kenny Pickett being penciled on the quarterback.
All right, we've got a legend out here to make the pick, and he is from Wisconsin. Joe Thomas is announcing the Browns selection.
How about them Brownies? Here we go with the 33rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Your Cleveland Browns select Carson Schwesinger, linebacker, UCLA.
You have to love this story. Versatile linebacker, originally walked on at UCLA after being unranked as a recruit. Wound up a first-team All-American, a semifinalist for the Butkus Award. Mel, last year he had 4 sacks, 2 picks, and 115 tackles.
Amazing what he was able to do coming there as a walk-on. Beginning of the year, you didn't even have Schwesinger anywhere on your map, on your radar. Look what he was able to accomplish. Led the nation with 90 solo tackles. Watch the number 49. Quick to diagnose the boy. He is in there making a tackle. 136 total tackles. Led the Big Ten. He had 8.5 tackles for loss. 4 were sacks. He had 2 interceptions as well. This kid was all over the field against Minnesota. He had 13 tackles, 4.5 for loss, and 2 sacks. Against Washington, he had a career-high 17 tackles. You see him here. He was a big-time performer. Top instinct, flies to the football, good feel in coverage as well. Good ball skills, of course, to be reckoned with as a blitzer. He is complete. They drafted on special teams. He brings it. He was discussed, and I had him as a 32nd best player on the board. He was talked about as a late first-round possibility. That was reality. He was in the mix to be a late first-round pick. So, again, heavy defense for a team needs some offensive help. Picked again at 36. Now you had Mason Graham, Carson Schwesinger, the interior of that defense. Talking about up the gut with defensive tackle Graham and now an off-ball linebacker like Schwesinger. They're making strides. Now they got to go to the offensive side.
And I just love the fit. You put him next to Jeremiah Owusu-Formora and this Jim Ford's defense. We know that JOK loves to come downhill, but you got a guy that likes to read and react. He can key diagnose, and regardless of what you say about the athleticism, he gets there quickly because of the instinct. In this defense, he will thrive.
Instincts. This young man has the best instincts in this draft, regardless of position, in my estimation. When you talk about getting off the mark, getting off the spot, no false steps, as far as his run entry, it is consistent. I mean, it is laser fast every single time. He is ahead of the play every single time. He is just a football player. First and foremost, look, right now, if you're Jim Schwartz, you're going, look, that's what I want. That's what I want. Look, this is a big pick coming up again when it's their turn again. They have to address offense. They have to get some playmakers on that side of the ball. But this is a heck of a pick.
The Houston Texans pick is in. It'll be announced in a moment by Owen Daniels, who was the fourth round pick, I should say, in the 2006 draft from the University of Wisconsin. Again, as you heard the commissioner mention, we will hear not only from a lot of the great legends from all across the National Football League, but we'll be heavy on Badgers tonight, and appropriately so, as we do this draft here in Green Bay. Here comes the Texans pick at 34.
Oh yeah, always feels like home coming back to Wisconsin. Houston, it's our time now. With the 34th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, Iowa State.
The first thing you're going to notice is the size. 6'4", 214 pounds, and he ran 4.47. Played 2 seasons at Eastern Kentucky. Always productive, but really broke out last year in the Big 12. Lewis, 87 catches, 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, just 2 drops. He's an inside-outside versatile guy. Although 70% of the snaps were outside wide, under 30% inside. And what he is, he's just a big-body, strong prototype XC wide receiver that has underrated wiggle. You saw him there on the stutter go. And then you see the fantastic hand-eye coordination, strong runner after the catch. You see at the catch point, he's just going to big boy people because he's just strong like that, has a big catch radius. Reminds you a little bit of Drake London. There on the inside, you see him there, fake the post, then just kind of fade there to the pylon, make the catch for the touchdown. This is what you need down there, and this is what C.J. Stroud needs. Another guy like this we can throw the football up to, win those dump ball situations. Think about Jaden Higgins now to go along with Nico Collins. That's a pretty good-looking wide receiver for like a small basketball team.
Yes.
He's gonna put up some big-time yardage in that offense down there in Texas.
They were 26th in red zone efficiency last season. He should be able to help with that. We have had a trade. The Seattle Seahawks are now on the board. They will make pick number 35. When we continue in just a moment, you're watching the draft from Green Bay on ESPN2.
The 2025 NFL Draft is presented by Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL. And in part by McDonald's.
We are back in Green Bay. We have had a trade here early in round 2. We've had 2 selections made so far, and now at pick number 35, Seattle has traded up with Tennessee. As you see, they have swapped second-round picks and thrown in a third-rounder to move up here at this spot at number 35. So we'll find out momentarily who it is Seattle identified that they wanted. And as the cavalcade of legends continues announcing the picks, it's going to be Shaun Alexander, former NFL MVP, who will be making the pick. Well, that would have been, yes, here's Shaun Alexander or Richard Sherman to make this pick for Seattle. Watching the countdown on the stage there. Sorry for the momentarily change of plan.
The only thing they'll want more than winning is seeing you not. So hug your family, thank your coach, then get ready to end up on opposite sides of the ball, the map, and history. The stakes are high, but there's 2 sides to this game, and you can remind them how much they have to fear.
Welcome to Rivalries. Now go introduce yourself. Let's go! The next rival has been chosen. The Tennessee Titans have traded the 35th pick to the Seattle Seahawks. With the 35th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Nick Emmanwori, DB, South Carolina.
Here's another one where the operative word is big. He was recruited as a linebacker before moving to safety as a freshman. And Booger, when he ran 4.38 at the Combine, you knew he would hear his name called early in this draft.
No doubt, Greeny. The first thing that stands out is the size. 6'3", 220 pounds. He ran 4.3. He vertical jumped 43, broad jumped 11. And the thing you notice about him, he reminds me of Derwin James. Big safety you can bring down in the box. The run-stopping ability, the physical prowess. I think right now, currently, he's best used near the line of scrimmage, very similar to Derwin James, but he also has a little react to him, the way the Ravens use Kyle Hamilton. He can drop back, key diagnose, and read and break on the ball. The rare big safety with the athleticism, the ability to come down and play the run, the speed and the athleticism also to go back and play the pass. This is the guy that you want primarily near the ball, and he'll make a ton of plays for you, very similar to the way that Derwin James does for the Chargers and the way that Hamilton does for the Ravens.
Yeah, Mike McDonald is with Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton slid down when he projected to go a lot higher to the Baltimore Ravens. He's the head coach. You want the guy who I call him the unique freak. There's not many 6'3", 230-pound safeties that run 4.38 that were productive 3 straight years. But intercepted passes, making plays in the box, all over the field. And Nick Emmanwori for Mike McDonald, I'm sure he sees like Kyle Hamilton. They just don't come along very often, guys. No. You don't find guys like that, like Hamilton and now Emmanwori. And Malachi Starks, by the way, went to the Baltimore Ravens, where McDonald came from. So both the Ravens and the Seahawks get the top 2 safeties in this draft.
That almost makes too much sense, right? You know, Mike McDonald sitting there looking at John Schneider, the general manager, and going, "Get me him. Take him right now. I know exactly what to do with the guy with that profile." Just makes sense.
We mentioned Cleveland has 2 picks early tonight. Here's the second of those they acquired in a trade last night. The Browns set to announce pick number 36.
All right, I found a young Browns fan, Jack Thomas, in the crowd. It's going to give me a little help here with the 36th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Your Cleveland Browns select
Quinshon Judkins, running back, Ohio State.
All right, well done. Physical runner, spent 1 season at Ohio State, won a national title after 2 very productive years at Ole Miss. In all, he accounted for over 4,000 yards of offense in 3 college seasons, Mel, and then he ran 4.48 at the combine.
Tell you what, people say, hey, you have Travion Henderson. Why are we getting Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss? Because he helped out Travion. I said it with Travion, who stayed healthy all year. Quinshon Judkins led this team with over 1,000 yards rushing, average 5.5 a carry. Team best 14 rushing touchdowns. He had 173 yards against Marshall. And the Oregon in the quarterfinal game in the Rose Bowl, 17 carries, 85 yards. Championship game, 2 rushing touchdowns and a 70-yard run. He has burst through the hole. He's got balance. I like the way he finishes runs. He's a dependable pass receiving option out of the backfield. Ball security got better. They had 3 fumbles, lost the last 3 years. That's it. Got better in that regard. Obviously, you give a Travion Henderson. He never fumbled his whole career. So obviously, with Quinshon Judkins, he sees that. It rubbed off. This kid, ball security was excellent. Lacks a little top elusiveness, some top-end speed, but he's got the size, the pluses up the gut. He's got the willingness to handle those pass-blocking responsibilities at the next level. Still needs a little more work in that area. He's not up there at Travion Henderson's level as far as that's concerned, but a guy that fits the profile which you want an NFL running back to be.
I'll tell you what he is he's like Nick Chubb with even more speed. That's what he is. Got to go down to Oxford and see him play a couple times. He surprised me when he busted out that 4.38 40-yard dash. But this guy is made for the Cleveland Browns. He's made for Northern Ohio with his between the tackles, downhill, punishing style, home run speed at 4.38. If he can play at that speed out in the open field, this guy is going to be an absolute menace at 221 pounds. That's a nice pickup for them. You can see the profile that Kevin Stefanski wanted right here. He's got himself a good one in Quinshon Judkins.
Well, the Browns, they live in Big Ten country, and they're going Big Ten so far. 3 Big Ten players. We have to get used to saying that with UCLA, but that's 3 Big Ten players they've selected.
And no doubt about it, but from the standpoint of Judkins, I just love the physical ability. You wouldn't think a guy that has a 4.4 speed can run that physical at 220 pounds. I think that's the physicality you want. The power to be able to come downhill, but also the speed to take it to the house as he showed in the college football playoff.
Okay, this is fun. We've had another trade. The Miami Dolphins have moved into this spot. We are up to pick number 37 here in round number 2. It originally belonged to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Dolphins have moved up, and they are on the clock. I'll have the details on that trade as quickly as we can for you. But it is the Dolphins who move up into this spot here. So let's contemplate what it is Miami may be looking at doing here with the 37th pick in round number 2.
Well, for Kenneth Grant, guys, and that defensive tackle, you look at the offensive line, that's an issue. You think about the defensive tackle spot. Glass Campbell moved on, so they brought in Kenneth Grant. The secondary as well, both safety and corner. I thought maybe Emmanwori or Starks. You think corner, safety, thought about today Barron as well. They went for Kenneth Grant, get the defensive tackle. But the O-line, secondary guys, I think are areas the Miami Dolphins will look at. And obviously, you think about Tua, you got to keep him healthy, you got to keep him upright, so keep fortifying the offensive line.
Yeah, they got to get guys who can turn the football over in the secondary in particular. You know, like now, Jalen Ramsey, right, on the trade block. They need somebody who can pick off the football. They need people who can prevent plus 20-yard explosives that they gave up too many of them last year. Offensive line, you've got to continue to fortify that, especially at the tackle position, man. You have no shot. You have no shot if Tua isn't healthy. So you've got to be able to establish the run game here with consistency as well. Safety, offensive line, that's what I expect.
Interesting to see the strategy. Teams making aggressive moves here early in the second round. We've come to see that as teams have the whole day to work out all these trades on the phones. Adam Schefter is with us all night long, and obviously he'll have the insight on a lot of these moves as the night continues as well. But again, it is the Dolphins who have moved their way up onto the clock, and they are bringing out one of their legends to announce their pick right now.
Let's go.
All right, we got a trade. We got a trade here. The Las Vegas Raiders have traded the 37th pick to the Miami Dolphins. With that being said, the 37th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jonah Savaiinaea, offensive guard, Arizona. Let's go. All right, y'all.
That's Jonah Savaiinaea, versatility and power out of Honolulu. Began his career at right guard, switched to right tackle, ultimately played a lot at both positions, but Mel, most of the projections we do see him as a guard.
He allowed 4 sacks in 11 games this past year, but you look at him, you look at the 6'4" and a quarter, 324 pounds, ran 4.95 at the combine. As a run blocker, he's not going to consistently dominate and drive defenders off the ball. He impresses on the pulling. He can get outside, he can pull. Because the pass blocker and the pads are low, he's playing with the right technique. I thought the results were pretty impressive. Footwork for his size, I thought was outstanding. I enabled him to mirror that defensive end, defensive tackle, and also effective on combo blocks. Look at knocked back off balance at times with the versatility to play both tackle and guard adds to his value for a Miami Dolphins team. Who is the key? He's the franchise, and he has had the injury issues. So Miami fortifying that group up front with a guy who can be a guard or a tackle. I think guard more for Savaiinaea for me moving forward, Lou. But the kid certainly having that dual versatility helps.
Yeah, you look at the Alamo Bowl last year against Oklahoma where he played right guard. He looked like an all-pro. This dude, I mean, he's got flex. He's got movement for, I mean, we're talking about, again, for 324 pounds, he's a dancing bear at guard. He has all-pro potential, Pro Bowl potential at guard. He can get you by at tackle as well, but guard is where this kid will have a nice career.
The Patriots are on the clock. The celebrations in round 2 have begun. Seattle moving up aggressively to find their man, Quinshawn Judkins. A surprise perhaps to some, going ahead of his teammate Travion Henderson tonight. The Patriots will make their selection next as the draft continues from Green Bay.
Welcome back to the 2025 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
We are back. We're back in Green Bay. The New England Patriots are on the clock to make the 38th pick in this draft. Last night, selecting at number 4 overall, they took offensive tackle Will Campbell out of LSU. And here's the deal on the Patriots. You're not going to recognize them when next season begins. The turnover in this organization has been remarkable. It starts at the very top with the new head coach, Mike Vrabel, the team's legend. And look at all these new faces that they bring in, and that does not even include the selection last night of Will Campbell and whoever else it is they're able to bring in here. Patriots have a great many needs. Obviously, one of the big considerations is building around their young star quarterback, Drake May. So will that be the direction they go? We're about to find out as one of the Patriots all-time legends is making his way to the stage and to announce their pick here in the second round along with the Commissioner Roger Goodell.
To help make the New England Patriots selection, we are honored to have with us Special Olympic athletes Xavier Goff and Unified Sports partner Reed Turner. Both are Unified Flag football teammates from Special Olympics. Reed, Xavier. Special Olympics is one of the league's Play 60 community partners funded by the NFL Foundation. The NFL and Special Olympics team up to provide opportunities for athletes of all ages and abilities to get active through unified flag football. This allows individuals with and without intellectual disabilities to play on the same team. Xavier, Reed, you got the stage.
With the 38th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select
Travion Henderson, running back, Ohio State.
Beautifully done. And so the Buckeye running backs go within a span of 3 selections here in round 2. As for Henderson, he finished 5th on the school's all-time rushing list, just 7 yards behind Eddie George, and he had the highest athleticism score of any of the running backs at the Combine.
6th Buckeye drafted already for a national championship team that had a ton of talent, and Travion Henderson was a great leader. tremendous young man. He's a complete back. I think you got to kind of rotate him in because when Quinshon Judkins was there with the workload, TreVeyon Henderson stayed healthy. He did not fumble once in his entire career at Ohio State. There were some durability concerns until this year with TreVeyon Henderson. When you look at this kid, he averaged 7-1 a carry. That's the attention getter for TreVeyon Henderson. He is a game breaker. Give him the ball. He can go 60, 70 yards in a blink. Talk about a guy also tied for fourth on the team with 27 receptions. He averaged 10.5 yards per catch. I didn't have a 100-yard game in 2024 rush because it was Judkins there sharing the workload. But as a pass catcher, as a guy who protects the football, tough in terms of blocking, outstanding blocker as well. A guy who hasn't proven he can handle the workload and has the durability. But when you talk about if you can spot him situationally and get somebody in there to work in with him, Boog, I think you got a guy who can score touchdowns and hit a home run from any point on the field.
And the thing I love about him as a 200-pound running back, I think he's the best pass-blocking running back in this draft. He will step up in there and put his nose in there, and he will light you up. So you also have a home run hitter, but from a physicality standpoint, he will put his nose in there and set the tone for your offense.
Think about the 1-2 punch of TreVeyon Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. That's the kind of like fire and ice that you want, thunder and lightning that you want. The big body Ramondre Stevenson, 225, 230. TreVeyon Henderson right around, 205, 208. I mean, it's perfect. Mike Vrabel knows what he wants. He knows what he's trying to build. Josh McDaniels will get a lot out of a player like this. And now combined with Rule Campbell, this will be a team that's going to knock you in the mouth. And then when they kind of soften you up and you start bringing people down in the box, they're going to take some shots over the top. TreVeyon Henderson, talk about the fact that how good he is as a pass receiver. And that's just not out of the backfield. Out of the backfield, you can split him out, and he will be a problem for safeties and linebackers one-on-one. It's a nice pick.
But one thing about him, he tracks the ball so well.
No doubt.
It's effortless. It's routine with him. He never fights the football. And like I said, he had Judkins. Yeah, he's got some help. He can't be the main entity. He wasn't able to stay healthy when he was, but certainly at Ohio State, they had a lot of talent around the quarterback, Will Howard, and TreVeyon Henderson and Judkins, that dynamic duo with Emeka Egbuka. Yeah. Simmons even got hurt, and what did they do? They kicked Donovan Jackson after. He's already going to the Minnesota Vikings. So a talent-laden football team with already 6 Buckeyes off the board.
If there's someone who knows how to utilize backs, Josh McDaniels, offensive coordinator in New England, you knew what he did back in the Patriots' heyday when they were winning all the Super Bowls. He knows how to work backs to their strengths and put them in favorable situations so they can shine. He will do the same with the backs they have now.
It's going to be very similar to the way we saw Detroit use Montgomery and Gibbs.
Right.
Okay, you got one that's a thumper, another guy that's a home run hitter. Think about how well they work together. It'll be very similar now in New England with these two guys.
Sonic and Knuckles, they get their own versions of it. Mel, you mentioned the 6 Buckeyes who've been drafted already here in the first 38 picks. And it's a remarkable group here for this incredibly talented team. There they are, lined up there with Henderson and Judkins both going here in the early portion of round number 2. And you see the 4 Buckeyes who went last night. I'll mention also the Patriots have had good luck taking running backs in the second round. They drafted Tevin Falk in the second round in 1999, Shane Vereen in the second round in 2011. They won a combined 4 Super Bowls with the Patriots. So Mike Vrabel obviously knows a lot about Patriots history. He was a big part of it, and he's trying to recreate some with their draft here. Or you may have heard some very loud booing a moment ago. That's because the Bears were put on the clock, the arch rivals of the hometown Green Bay Packers, and they now have the pick is in, so the Bears selection will be announced momentarily here as they're picking at number 39 is Chicago after they took the tight end Colston Loveland last night. Get ready for the boos as the Bears make their selection.
Chicago, where you at? That's what I'm talking about. All right, simmer down. With the 39th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 2025 NFC North champions, Chicago Bears, select Luther Burden III,
wide receiver, Missouri. Congratulations, young man. Bear down!
Okay. Not going to be popular here, but they are remaking this offense with their new offensive-minded coach. Luther Burden was a basketball superstar. He was the top offensive recruit as a football player in the country as a receiver in 2022, and Mel scored 26 touchdowns in his 3 seasons.
Weapons galore now for Caleb Williams. You had in the first round Colston Loveland, an outstanding pass-catching tight end. Now you get a Luther Burden III who back in, at various stages of the season. You thought, okay, production isn't what we thought it would be, but through the process, he moved back up. You thought maybe mid-first round. Here he is in the early second round. Luther Burden III with the ball in his hands. And now he's strong. He is a game breaker. He can catch the deep ball. He's got outstanding hands. It's amazing he wasn't targeted more. He wasn't more of a factor in some of these games, but he did consistently come up big late in games. Missouri pulled out a ton of games late. Here's a catch here in traffic. Luther Burden has strong hands. He is an outstanding talent. 5th highest rated player on ESPN.com coming out of the prep ranks. Now you have DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, and Luther Burden III. Now you have with Cole Kmet, a guy like Colston Loveland. The Chicago Bears now for Caleb Williams are giving him some dynamic talent around him.
It's unbelievable, quite honestly. And then the thing that they've really done is they fortified the interior of this offensive line. Chicago's poised to take off. They're poised to take off. Think Amon-Ra St. Brown, what Ben Johnson did with him in Detroit. That's Luther Burden, the guy who can run the jet sweeps. He's going to own the middle of the field, catch and run situations, tunnel screens, rocket screens. He is electric, lightning in a bottle. It's an embarrassment of riches, quite honestly, on paper for Chicago right now. There's no excuse anymore. There's no excuse. There's a reason why I took the over in terms of 8.5 wins this year. They have got to put it together now. They've got to put it together.
They're making the game easy.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams. This is the guy you can throw it to him on a little smoke greenie. Yards after the catch is what he specializes in. And don't pay attention to the 24th season and the numbers being down. Go back into 23. That's what Luther Burden can give you week in and week out.
By the way, what you just saw was the final pick of the Bryce Young trade. So the Bryce Young trade to Chicago, or from Chicago to Carolina, however you want to characterize that, is now complete. That was the last pick that was included in it. Okay, gentlemen, we have now arrived at the New Orleans Saints selection at number 40. This is one that we have had circled, Mel, as we consider where might a quarterback go early in the second round. The Saints seem like a logical place.
Yeah, you think about Kelvin Banks Jr. coming in on the offensive line. It was a need area, wide receiver, cornerback, edge, but quarterback's the big issue. You're in a division right now with number 1 pick overall Baker Mayfield, number 1 pick overall, and emerging Bryce Young. And then you have Michael Penix Jr., 8th pick overall last year, running the Atlanta Falcons. He's going to be their quarterback. So you've got to keep up with the division in the NFL. You can't be 4th in the division at quarterback, or even a distant 4th to have any chance. Derek Carr's injury now, muddies the waters there. You got Spencer Rattler, and you're sitting here looking at Shedeur Sanders. So another option. Tyler Shough, still on the board, right? Jalen Milroe still on the board. Kyle McCord. Think about Will Howard. They have all the quarterbacks after the top 2, which I thought were obviously Shedeur number 1, but Cam Ward went 1, Jackson Dart went late first. Now we get the 3rd quarterback off the board. Saints in a dome stadium. That's the key. Atlanta's dome, the weather, Carolina, Tampa Bay, favorable. This is the team, I think, at this stage of the draft, you got to address quarterback, Lou.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, I'm sitting there trying to read the body language of the people in the
Yeah,
Saints.
me too.
I'm looking at Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator. I'm going, does he look happy? Is Kellen Moore happy? Which one of these guys is really looking at Mickey Loomis going, hey, thank you for giving me the guy I wanted? You would think the quarterback, given Derek Carr's health situation, would be something that they would want to address. Look, wide receiver, the availability of their wide receivers right now. They have some health issues at wide receiver. Could that be a position that they look here and they say, we can get great value here? Or is it, again, is it the signal caller? And which signal caller will it be? That's going to be interesting here. Kellen Moore, he's going to have his fingerprints all over this pick regardless. Let's see what happens.
All right, you saw the reaction in the draft room. Like you, I was trying to read the body language. No more need to try and figure it out. Here comes the selection for the Saints at 40.
What's up, Green Bay? Who Dat Nation, I see you. All right, with the 40th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Tyler Shough, quarterback, Louisville.
There it is. One of the most intriguing prospects in this year's class. He will be 26 years old in September. He played parts of 7 seasons in college. Look at the reaction in the room, including from the dog. He had 3 at Oregon, 3 at Texas Tech, the huge year at Louisville. Lewis, you have been all over this player throughout this entire process.
Look, he is just super impressive, man. When you get to see these guys in person, you get to talk to them in their facilities, you get to talk to Jeff and Brian Brom, his head coach and offensive coordinator at Louisville, respectively. You come away with an appreciation for maybe what you'd be getting if you brought a guy like this into your program. He has been through it. He has persevered through injury, through 3 different programs. He got together this year down in Louisville with a nice offensive line, a pro-style system, dynamic running backs, a good wide receiver, Corey Brooks, and he just took off. This is a guy who is 6'4", 219 pounds, has big hands, almost 10-inch hands, 32-inch vertical jump, ran 4.6 at the combine, and he just lit it up. You can see here his start at Oregon. He's mobile in the pocket, has good field vision down the field, understands pro concepts, has run a lot of different offenses, goes to Texas Tech, runs the air raid, then gets down to Louisville and runs more of a pro-style offense where he's under the center, he's in the gun, he's in pistol. You see the ability to move outside the pocket, throw the ball from different arm slots, throw it with touch, throw it with horsepower. He's a guy who can layer the ball deep down the field, drop it in the bucket. We saw this earlier in our pre-show. He can fit it in the tight window. Just look at this throw. The margin for error just isn't there, and he makes it. This is the throw of the year, regardless of what quarterback you're talking about. This gets whacked right underneath the chin, basically throws it underhand. I was at this game down in Death Valley. He can take off and run it. Down in the red zone, he's going to be an issue. He's going to be a threat running the football. Kellen Moore will use him in that way. You just got to be happy for him because he's persevered through the injuries, the collarbone, the broken lower leg, to now he's a second-round pick for the Saints. Congratulations, Tyler Shough.
I have made the remark many times. Finding someone who feels about you the way Louis Riddick feels about Tyler Shough. And as you see the celebration going on with Shough and his family, we have a little compilation, Louis, of some of your moments talking about Tyler Shough.
Oh, boy.
There's a quarterback for Louisville. His name is Tyler Shough.
Tyler.
No.
You are the president of Tyler Shough's fan club.
I'm going to go with the guy whose hill I'm going to die on, and that is Tyler Shough.
Find somebody who loves you the way that Lewis loves you.
That's his Josh Allen.
You're not going to tell me that Tyler Shough is not a better prospect physically.
Oh, and that
First round, Tyler. Hey, man. You know what? This whole profession, you got to have passion. You got to have love for this profession. I just like seeing guys realize their dreams and persevere through hard times. He's persevered. And now he's at a nice spot to where he can get his career and let it take off. You just wish the best for people like that.
And I'm told Adam Schefter is ready to go here. Shefty, what perspective can you add here as Shough becomes the 3rd quarterback selected in this draft?
Well, not a surprise, I think, today to people across the league. I think there was great affection for Jackson Dart, who wound up going at pick 25 to the New York Giants. Cleveland had interest in Dart, and the Saints had interest in Dart. And with Dart off the board, the Saints decided to pivot. There's uncertainty surrounding Derek Carr. They don't know if and when he'll be able to play again this season. And with Carr's future being uncertain, and with the Saints losing out on Jackson Dart, they went ahead tonight and picked a quarterback they have great respect for. They believe in an awful lot. The same guy that Louis Riddick has believed in all along, Louisville quarterback Tyler Shough.
Mel, your thoughts again? Shough going here to New Orleans. It's a spot you just talked about. If they desperately need a quarterback, it's a great opportunity. As we say, for the young man, he's a lot older than a lot of the other players in this class. He'll be 26 in September.
You get the offensive tackle, Kelvin Banks Jr. If he can revert back to the form we saw a few years ago, banged up this year, you got a left tackle. He's Kelvin Banks. He could kick inside, could be a right tackle. He's got tremendous athleticism and talent. So you got the offensive line, you solidified, you take one spot there with Banks. Now you get the quarterback. You handpick your guy. Let's face it, this is Kellen Moore's guy. If he was a former quarterback, coordinator, he's got a choice. Anybody he wanted, he picked his quarterback. Hey, in a dome for Tyler Shough, you can keep him healthy, he can spin it. he can definitely spin it. So I'm not going to sit here and pound the table for who a quarterback I would take. You got your quarterback to New Orleans. It's a good spot. They're in a division where they had to try to keep up. You got to keep taking shots. Because Bryce Young is an emerging kid right now. He was number one for a reason, and he started to really gain some confidence and really improve once he was benched. He came back here to being benched. He was a different quarterback. And Michael Penix Jr. could throw it, as long as they can keep him healthy, right? He had big durability questions coming out of Washington to the Atlanta Falcons. And you think about Baker Mayfield, former number one pick. He ain't going away. He's solidified in Tampa. Yeah. So the division is the key. Tyler Shough's got to make up ground in a hurry for the New Orleans Saints quarterback.
And that's the thing I love. You got a first-year head coach in Kellen Moore who identified the quarterback that he wants. Greeny, how many times have we seen the coach come in and then the coach is fired, but the fired coach chooses the quarterback? I love the fact that you're pairing a first-year coach in Kellen Moore with the rookie quarterback in Tyler Shough. To me, that's a great pairing.
Now they just need to make sure, look, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, are those guys going to be available? They're going to be able to stay on the football field? Do you still now try and go out and get him some more wide receivers, get him some more weapons, try to build up this offensive line? Hey, Kellen Moore has really coached a lot of different types of quarterbacks. Now he's got a hands on Tyler Shough. This will be exciting to watch this fall.
All right, the Buffalo Bills pick is in at number 41. We've had a lot of movement and trades early on, and here comes the announcement for Buffalo selection.
Yeah. Mafia, where you at? Where they at? All right, we got a trade. The Chicago Bears have traded the 41st pick to the Buffalo Bills. And with the 41st pick, in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select T.J. Sanders, defensive tackle, South Carolina.
T.J. Sanders at just under 300 pounds gets that pressure right up the middle. Great stat here, Mel. His average time to first pressure that season was 8th in the country. So he is big, but he gets after the quarterback.
Yeah, 13 games with 9 starts. He was tops among defensive linemen with the game pack with 50 tackles. 7 were for loss and 4 were sacked. He is an athletic defensive tackles with T.J. Sanders. He had 9 tackles against Ole Miss. 7 were solos. He had 7 tackles and a sack against Missouri. Effective, exposing the edges of the blocker. Gets penetration to the backfield, makes impact plays against the run and the pass. Has a variety of moves getting to the quarterback. Rip, arm, over, glove. He closes quickly. Lacks the girth, the anchor against the double team. That's the issue. Both years of defensive back, you know about that. Lacks a little consistency in the pass rush production, considering the talent could keep getting better and improving. So for T.J. Sanders, the talent is there. They coach him up. They maybe got something here.
If this were 10 years ago, I'd be concerned about the girth. But now this is a passing league. You need a guy that can have that first step quickness, can put his foot in the ground and go north and south. He can do that. Got loose hip screening. That means he can tango, he can box trot, and he can flip his hips and get around the guard and get to the quarterback. And if you're Buffalo, you put him with Ed Oliver. I like what they have as far as rush inside.
No doubt, 10 sacks over the past 2 years. He showed in a couple games this year. I remember Missouri in particular, week 12. Quick hands, vertical push. Yeah, this is a nice pick. This is a guy who could wind up surprising you in terms of his pass rush production.
So the Bills have gone defense with each of their first 2 picks in this year's class. But the big story so far in round 2, the big guy Tyler Shough selected by New Orleans. The Saints have found their quarterback. The Jets are on the clock, and they'll make their pick as we continue from Green Bay in just a moment. We are back in Green Bay. Time for a look at Mel's best available. Brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Yeah, you got a variety of players here. You think about a pass rusher coming off the edge in Mike Green. We talked about Donovan Ezeiruaku, another kid who can get after the quarterback. And Elijah Arroyo, really athletically gifted tight end, had a heck of a year. He can stretch that deep middle as well. Will Johnson, the injury concern, why a cornerback we thought at times could be in the top 10 to 15 picks, would still be on the board at this stage in the second round.
So it's the Jets who are on the clock now with their new regime, their new head coach. I've heard it speculated that perhaps quarterback could be under consideration here, and certainly Deion Sanders, his family waiting to hear his son's name called at some point. We'll see if this is that point. The Jets went offensive line last night, taking Armand Membu, the right tackle, with their first round selection, and now here comes their pick in round number 2.
With the 42nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Mason Taylor, tight end, LSU.
The fans seem to like it there. His dad, the Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, did briefly play for the Jets. Of course, more remembered as a Dolphin. Mason is 6'5", 251 pounds, highly productive, 129 catches over 3 seasons in Baton Rouge, and he's still very young. Now, he won't turn 21 for another 2 weeks.
It's the position we kept waiting. Last year, Brock Bowers, you passed them up, right? This year, you passed up Loveland and Tyler Warren. They go to Membo. You got to get a tight end. Justin Fields, who's going to be that guy with that dual threat ability. Now you add Mason Taylor into the mix at 55 receptions this past year. It's a single-season school record for 546 yards, a couple touchdowns, at least 3 catches. Like 3 receptions in every game, so the consistency was there. Very good hands, tracks the ball, body control, route running, excellent. Seal blocks, pass blocks, I think he's capable of getting that done as well. When you talk about positional versatility, he has it. Not elite when it comes to run after catch ability. Lacks the base to be a reliable mover in the run game. Average blocker. I think you can ride him out at times. Look, that's a pass catching option for Justin Fields. He can get it done.
In any of the biggest situations, when they needed a play, they threw the ball to Mason Taylor in Baton Rouge. Maybe the most dependable hands they had on that team. That's including Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.
All right, so the Jets, who clearly need offensive firepower with Garrett Wilson on the outside, now get the tight end. The San Francisco 49ers are next, and their pick is in here at number 43 in this round number 2.
Bay Area! Bay Area! Bang, bang, 49ers. With the 43rd pick in the 2025 class, the 49ers select Alfred Collins, D-tackle, Texas.
Alfred Collins, the operative word is big, a 332-pound run stuffer with long arms. Lewis, you just can't move him at the point of attack.
We said yesterday that John Winston, general manager, was trying to give Robert Saleh some guys to work with, some foundational players to really lead this football team back to where it once was on both lines of scrimmage. They started yesterday with Michael Williams and now Alfred Collins. 6'5", 332 pounds, 34 and 5/8 inch arms. He can play everywhere from the 9 technique, a wide defensive end, as you see here, and to the nose tackle. He can play a 4 technique and a 3-4 if you needed him to at 332 pounds. He just has great competitive character. He never stopped. Against Ohio State in the playoff game, he just played to the very end, snap after snap, just trying to hunt down the quarterback, get separation at the point of attack, flashes upfield push as far as the pass rush is concerned. He'll pursue the football outside the tackle at 335 pounds. He's going to run out of gas now and then, but between him and Michael Williams, they now have some people for Robert Saleh to work with up front.
You know, when I watch him play, I think Chris Jones, a big 3 technique, a guy with long arms. We've seen Chris Jones slide out to the edge. He can be that type of pass rusher. A bigger 3 technique. We're used to seeing the smaller ones. He can be one of the bigger.
Yeah. All right. So the 49ers find their man. How about them Cowboys? Dallas on the clock. They selected an offensive lineman last night in round 1. We'll find out what direction they go in round 2 in just a moment. We are back in Green Bay, and it has been a Booger McFarland kind of draft. We've had 7 defensive tackles selected so far. That's the most of any position. In fact, the 49ers have taken 2 defensive linemen. They've added 592 pounds to their defensive line with their first 2 picks in this year's class. In the meantime, the Dallas Cowboys are now on the clock and ready to make their selection here in round number 2.
Hello, Wisconsin. With the 44th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Donovan Ezeiruaku, defensive end, Boston College.
Mel, what a final college season this pass rusher had. 65 pressures, led the nation, 16 and a half sacks, second best in the country, and he was the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year.
And Micah Parsons got some help now, and they can learn, obviously, Donovan Ezeiruaku can from Micah Parsons. 23 on a big board to get him at 44. Some reaches take place. Great player slides through the cracks. And 80 tackles as well. 80 tackles, and he wasn't a one-year wonder. Back in 2022, he had 14 and a half tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, and forced 3 fumbles. That's been, I think, the mode of operation for Donovan Ezeiruaku his entire career. He can bend off the edge. He's got long arms. For 6'2" and change, 247 pounds. It's a variety of moves. Rip move, arm over, spin move. He's got them all. Repertoire of moves. This kid's ready to go. He's NFL ready, Lou. Summed at the Senior Bowl. 8 forced fumbles over the last 3 years with Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts in this division. Not just Micah Parsons going to be chasing them. This kid will be.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think he's got too many moves. I think he'll be better on the National Football League level when he can take some of those moves and pare them down. And I know there's some question marks about his ability to stop the runs. He can set the edge. He does it with quickness, his length, his arm. He is juice coming off the edge, and I think he'll pair well with Micah Parsons.
Coaching staff up there talks about the investment he made under the new coaching staff this year, headed by Bill O'Brien up there at BC. How he just committed himself from day one to doing everything possible to get the most out of him because he dreamed about a day like today. They rave about him from a personal football character standpoint. He is the consummate teammate, the consummate worker. Everything he's gotten, he has earned. And all that work he did in the offseason, it pays off now. He's got a star on his helmet. Pretty good ending for him.
For the Cowboys, you see there Jerry Jones, and to his right, our left, his new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, who was an offensive coach throughout his career, but they've gone defense with each of their first 2 selections. The Colts are next, ready to go. They took the tight end last night in round 1. Let's see what direction they go in round 2.
Come on! Wisconsin, what up? Man, it feels so good to be out here. Didn't have the opportunity in 2020 due to circumstances, but I'm back in Wisconsin. It's always a good time out here, man. Huge shout out Salem City, man. This is a dream come true, but Colts Nation, let's find out who my new teammate is going to be, man. Let's go. Let's keep this train rolling on day 2. And with that being said, with the 45th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, my Indianapolis Colts select JT Tuimoloau, DN, Ohio State.
What a weekend this has been for the Buckeyes. That's the 7th Ohio State player to be selected. Powerful pass rusher off the edge for the national champions. Had 12 and a half sacks. Mel last year, 23 and a half for his career.
Yeah, and I was really impressed. During that playoff run, JT Tuimoloau had 10 tackles for loss, 6.5 of those were sacks over that key 4-game stretch in the games that were most meaningful, Bug. This kid got after that. 21.5 tackles for loss, 12.5 sacks. Both exceeded his career totals coming into the 2024 season. Brings an element of power as well to his game, whether it's rushing the passer or playing the run. Plays with leverage. I like the perseverance. I mean, this guy will not quit on a playbook.
I think the thing that stood out for me is his hands. He plays with powerful hands and the length, the hands, the ability to take the offender and lock him out. He uses his hands well from a technical standpoint. He makes up the lack of athleticism with the power and how he uses those hands.
Look, what do you think about him and Sub moving inside to the 3 technique? They did that something with him in Ohio State. That's what he looks like to me. I don't know about the foot speed on the outside, but you are right. The power, the absolute just straight up bull rush, taking off at the tackle and just collapsing the pocket outside in. He's got a quick swim. I think he's going to be a terror if you move him inside and rush him over the guard in sub-rush situations.
He's an outstanding athlete as well. Had a scholarship offer to play basketball at Oregon, but chose, wisely it appears, to focus on football. So we're about midway through this round 2, and it's been a spirited round so far. The Dallas Cowboys going defense last night and then again tonight. The Rams are on the clock, and we'll get their pick next from Green Bay in just a moment. We are back here in Green Bay. The Los Angeles Rams about to make their first pick of this draft, and they have been exceptional in the draft process over the last few years. Look at the names they have brought in, including last year, just completely remaking a defense that led them on a playoff run. And in a special note, the Rams team draft party this year is being held at the LA Fire Department's Fire Operations hangar. You see all of the Rams dignitaries there, just in respect of the abject heroism of the fire department during the horrific fires that took place in Los Angeles over the last few months. You'll recall it displaced one of their games at the end, a playoff game. But now the Rams, who traded out of round one yesterday, will make their first pick of the 2025 draft.
All right, all right. What it do, Green Bay? So first and foremost, I just want to send a huge thank you to all the men and women who serve as our first responders and in our military. Secondly, I want to send a huge shout out to my son, Mikael. It's his birthday today. He's a draft baby. Let's go. Let's go. All right, lastly, let's get into this pick. With the 46th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Terrence Ferguson, tight end, Oregon University.
Terrence Ferguson, consistently productive for the Ducks, had at least 30 catches each of the last 3 seasons, a total of 14 touchdowns. He is the school's all-time leader in receptions among tight ends.
There's some things I really like about Terrence Ferguson and some concerns. Let's go to things we really like. Look at that size, 6'5" and change, 247 pounds, ran 4.63. Big games, 2 games against Ohio State this year. He combined for 9 receptions, 133 yards. 7 of the last 8 games he played, he had a reception of 20 yards or more. Why? Because he's got impressive size and athletic ability, exceptional run after the catch, talent, like his ability to adjust to off-target throws. Now, the concern. Needs to do a better job securing the catch and contested situations. We see it with Tyler Warren, didn't see it consistently with Terrence Ferguson. It's a frustrating blocker. Made some nice blocks in motion, lacks the attention to detail, drop his head, consistently get the job done in that area. It wasn't the issue, was the issue. That's the concern moving forward. Blocking, making sure you go up and get those contested grabs in the NFL. He's going to have to be able to do that. He has the size, he has the athleticism to do it. Run after the catch ability is excellent. And one thing about this kid, highly regarded, highly respected by teammates and the coaching staff at Oregon.
I think that's the one thing Sean McVay loves is the movement skills. You can see the fluid movement and the athletic ability. I think he fits well in the offense, especially the way they want to run the zone blocking scheme and the play action off of it.
The desire is going to have to improve. The consistency of what you get after is going to have to improve.
All right, the Arizona Cardinals are up next, and they're ready to make their pick here in round number 2.
What's up, Green Bay? And with the 47th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Will Johnson, defensive back, Michigan. Rise up, Red Sea.
All right, finally his name called, so spectacular for the Wolverines in 2023. Intercepted Michael Penix in the national championship game in which he was named the defensive MVP. Missed more than half of last season, but was still named an All-American. Mel, this is a player who, or Lewis, could have been, if not for the injuries, could have heard his name called very early last night.
Yeah, there's no question about it. That's really what pushed him down. It's the injury concern. It's whether or not he's going to be a guy who can get to a second contract and be a decades-long corner. It's not a skill issue with him at 6'1", 694 pounds. This is a dude who, when you're playing split safety schemes, meaning cover 2, cover 4, where he can play off the ball, through the quarterback, he has fantastic closing quickness, fantastic instincts, and has finishing skills. Look, his defensive coordinator, you see it right here. That's just reading the 3-step drop, jumping the hitch, and then he's off to the races. His defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, said he has ball skills and has hands, tracks the football like the Hall of Famer Champ Bailey. As far as his ability to see the football and finish on it, this is a heck of a pickup for Arizona. Obviously, their medical department said, hey, look, he is worth the risk at this point in the draft. And if they can keep him healthy and he can stay on the football field, that's a heck of a pickup.
So they take a Michigan man. We have a Michigan man. Adam Schefter, what can you tell us about Will Johnson?
Well, Greeny, a year ago, he might have been a top 5, top 10 pick, but because of concerns about his knee, because of the fact that he could need a surgery at some point in the future, he slipped to this spot, to Arizona's slot, and some people wondered whether Jim Harbaugh would look to get Will Johnson to L.A. in the second round. He didn't make it there. The Arizona Cardinals select the outstanding young man from the University of Michigan, Will Johnson. Well, plenty more from the 2025 NFL Draft as we're in the middle of round 2 with plenty of picks to come and more intriguing prospects on the board.
We are back in Green Bay. It's time for a draft moment brought to you by Häagen-Dazs. Hey, Booger, remember you were talking about that moment when you got drafted? So this is Quinshon Judkins. His phone rang while he was out of the room. So you see, members of his draft party are there. The Browns are calling to select him, but he's not in the room. And so they answer the phone, and they're all yelling for him. Hey, Quinshon, and then he comes back in to take the call.
Sometimes you got to go to the bathroom, Green.
That's exactly
That's
right.
how it goes.
So there's
like me.
An interesting moment there.
I would have been out of the room. There's no question about it.
If you know, you know. So anyway, Quinshon Judkins, when nature calls, sometimes that beats out when the Browns call. So we had that moment, and then we had this great moment with Tyler Shough. Look at the celebration. 7 years in the making. That's how long he was in college. You love to see a dog that excited as well. The Saints taking Tyler Shough, number 40. The dog just knows something exciting has happened. And I'm here for that moment as well. So Tyler Shough goes to the Saints. Still waiting on some of the other quarterbacks to be drafted here, but now it is the Texans who are on the clock and ready to announce their pick.
Trade alert, trade alert. Those boys in Houston are making moves right now. The Las Vegas Raiders have traded the 48th pick to the Houston Texans. And with the 48th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Ariante Ursary, tackle, Minnesota.
He started the final 38 games of his career at left tackle for the Gophers and was named the Big Ten's Offensive Lineman of the Year last season. Mel, he grew up in Kansas City, and he is big, 6'6", 331
Ran a
pounds.
501, and guess what? He was matched up against Abdul Carter, second pick in the draft. Up at the guy who went third overall to the New York Giants, and he was Ariante Ursary. With all those starts, all that experience, he would just ride Abdul Carter out of the play, take that scenic route around the quarterback, and it's not a factor in that game. Abdul Carter against Minnesota and Ariante Ursary, 3 total tackles, 1 solo. That's it. No hurries, no pressure, no sacks, no nothing. Did a heck of a job in that game. Mason Graham, same exact thing there. So he was battle-tested in the Big Ten against some quality defensive linemen, and I think these guys can get after the quarterback inside and out. You look at his pad level at times, hand placement, little inconsistent there. Needs some technique work. Blocking in space, not going to be his forte. But I'll tell you what, as a run blocker, the size, the strength, he gets steady movement. He can anchor with power. Talking about hand placement, if he can improve there. And offensive line coaches in the NFL, they're the best in the world. They got a lot to work with here. 6'6", 331 pounds, around a 5'01", 40. And that game against Abdul Carter was impressive. I tell you what, Abdul had no answer. He didn't have an answer.
Yeah, he had him frustrated. You could see he was visibly frustrated. He looked totally different. Like week 5, I saw him against Michigan. I was going, oh boy, this doesn't look so good. He goes against Penn State, goes against one of the best pass rushers in college football. Looked totally different. Just got to smooth out the performance.
C.J. Stroud's having a good day. He's got a receiver. He's got an offensive lineman. And the Bengals are next on the clock.
With the 49th pick in the draft of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Demetrius Knight Jr., linebacker, South Carolina.
All right, they seem to like it. He's an unranked prospect coming out of Locust Grove, Georgia, as a dual-threat quarterback. Went to Georgia Tech, spent 4 seasons there before one each at Charlotte and then South Carolina. So he's 25 years old. He has the size and the speed and played well in his team's biggest games.
Tell you what, he ran a 4.58 40. I tell you what, finished second on the team with 82 tackles, 8 for loss, and 3 forced fumbles. The Oklahoma game, he had 11 tackles in back-to-back games against Oklahoma, the Sooners, and Texas A&M. Against Clemson, he had 10 tackles and an interception on the Tigers' final drive in that game. So he came up big at key moments. This is a guy who played basketball and baseball in high school. He is a physical thumper. And he got some range sideline to sideline, tackled with purpose, showed some promise to cover a guy in zone, and splashed a little bit as a blitzer as well this year for South Carolina.
This guy, he is that. He is a thumper. He is downhill, great key and diagnose, just like Schwesinger. This guy very rarely doesn't get the correct read. And look, if you're Al Golden right now, you have to like this as well. You have to like the fact that you've got someone in the middle who go with Logan Wilson, who can really go ahead and patrol that second level and make a lot of plays, both against the run game, in the run game, and in pass coverage. Demetrius Knight, he's one of the guys who was on the list here. Now him and Jamar Stewart, that's a pretty good start as far as revamping that defense.
For a defense that really had nowhere to go but up. From what was obviously a very challenging season a year ago. The Seattle Seahawks are up next. Their pick will be announced live from Green Bay as we continue in just a moment on ESPN2. We are back in Green Bay. Do you think the fans here are excited to have the draft? That's one of those houses directly across the street from Lambeau Field informing us that the pick is in. The Seattle Seahawks have moved up on the clock. We've had a lot of trading action so far in this second round. In fact, the Carolina Panthers have moved into the 51st slot, so they'll be picking after Seattle here at the half-century mark. But let's go to the stage for the Seahawks.
What up, 12s? Before we start, I gotta say happy birthday to my son, Jedediah. Everybody say happy birthday. With the 50th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Arroyo, tight end, Miami. Let's get it.
Arroyo is originally from Frisco, Texas. Knee injuries marred his first few seasons at the U, but he broke out big time last year, Mel, with 35 catches, 7 touchdowns, and made big plays, about 17 yards a catch to lead all tight ends.
This guy is right out of central casting when you're talking about tight end. You see him in person, you're going, how did he not catch 1,000 passes this year? That's because Miami was loaded at the wide receiver position, but he made the very most of his opportunities. And offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson down there said, look, the best is all ahead of him. The catch and run ability. At 250 pounds, you see him there, you're not going to run him down. And in this offense out in Seattle with Clint Kubiak as the offensive coordinator now, Sam Darnold is going, I've got a guy now who can play the Y, he can flex out, he can play the U on the move. He'll become a better blocker at 250 pounds and 6'5". If you look at him in person, he should be dominating people. I mean, absolutely dominated. Tremendous hand, athleticism. He's got the entire package. This is what you're looking for in a prototypical tight end. He's just got to put it all together, play stronger in the run game, but he's going to get a lot more targets now.
No doubt. And when you think about Seattle, you got rid of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett is gone, you bring in Sam Darnold. You're going to be looking for somebody to get down deep in the middle of the field and give you some big plays. And Arroyo is a home run hitter. He just does it from the tight end position.
How about John Schneider? Gray Zabel, interior offensive lineman. Nick Emmanwori, a safety in the Kyle Hamilton mold. And now you add a guy like Elijah Arroyo, suddenness out of his break, dangerous after the catch. He's a weapon in the passing game for Sam Darnold.
All right, the Panthers moved into this spot, so they've identified a player they wanted. Let's find out who it is. Carolina with the pick at 51.
What's up, Wisconsin? Panthers fans, hey, keep pounding, man. Shout out to God, shout out Memorial Noman. The Denver Broncos have traded the 51st pick to the Carolina Panthers. With the 51st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Nick Skurton, DN, Texas A&M.
He had one very productive season in College Station, led that team with 5 sacks. That after leading the Big Ten in sacks with 10 the year before playing at Purdue. And he's still very young, won't turn 21 till the end of August.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's a big kid. And I'll tell you what, 2 years ago, he looked like a guy we'd be talking about a lot earlier than this. He was a third in the SEC with 14 tackles for loss this year. Some were a little quiet at times and led the Aggies with 5 sacks. Thought that number would be 10 plus. It was 5. Against Arkansas, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble to seal the win. That was one of his key games of the season. Defensive end, outside linebacker, scheme versatile, varies his path to the quarterback. Like that aspect of his game. Good instincts as well. Hand usage, hard worker. The explosiveness off the edge at times. You don't see elite in that area, Boog, as going up against those great NFL offensive tackles. And again, could get better at keeping containment off the edge as well, sealing the edge against the run. So for Dick Skurton, you saw flashes of brilliance at times, both at Purdue and A&M, consistency lacking, and you wonder against those skilled offensive tackles how effective he'll be getting after the quarterback.
I think the thing that jumped off the screen is his motor. You talk about a guy, when you turn him on, the motor is nonstop over and over. And you can win a lot of one-on-one rushes just by outworking the guy. And Skurton showed us that time and time again on film.
The coaching staff down there in College Station told me this year he's just a great character guy. He raises the level of the effort of everyone around him. When he went up against Will Campbell, he gave him all he could handle because he's never going to stop. He's never going to quit. Super physical. Good building block for Carolina.
Titans are on the clock and ready to go. They made the first pick of this draft and then have not selected since. So the Titans picking here now at number 52.
What's up, Green Bay? Y'all throw a stone groove, man. And with the 52nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Oluwafemi Aladejo out of UCLA, edge rusher.
Northern California kid, played his first 2 seasons at Cal, then transferred down to LA, began as a stand-up linebacker, moved to the edge, had 4.5 sacks last year.
Tell you what, loved the kid. I brought him up as my entry, the Kentucky Derby entry of Oladejo and Schwesinger. Schwesinger first pick in round 2, the Cleveland Browns, and here we are, Tennessee Titans needing an edge rusher. Oladejo moved from the inside off ball to the edge. He had 57 tackles, 13.5 for loss, was led the team, 4.5 sacks. He's getting better and better with more experience. This kid gets there. Know about a motor? He's got that. He's adapted to the position change off ball to outside. He's a work in progress. The motor needs to be a little more disciplined getting after the quarterback. The talent, though, is undeniable.
Yeah, I couldn't understand. Sometimes they'd move him inside to like a forward technique over top of a tackle, and I'm going, at 259 pounds?
No,
that's not where
that.
they want to use him. But I tell you, this guy is physical now. He is absolutely physical. And if there's anyone who will have a good plan for him, look, Denard Wilson will know how to use him down there in Tennessee. He'll get the most out of him, put him on the edge, and let him hunt. Great competitive character, like the pickup.
They need the pass rush help. Titans just 32 sacks last year, tied for the 3rd fewest in the NFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock. We're up to pick number 53, and we'll hear it from Green Bay right after this.
Right there. That's it right there.
You're watching the 2025 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
And our friends at Courtyard by Marriott also bring us Mel's Best Available.
Bringing some new names pop up on the Best Available board right now. We saw guys that were injured maybe. Now teams in the second round taking a chance. And Darius Alexander, versatile kid out of Toledo, love him. What about Jared Wilson? First year as a starter. Remember, Cedric Van Stranger had been the center at Georgia. Jared Wilson takes over. He's an athlete. He can move, and he's getting better and better. Best football ahead for that young man out of the Georgia Bulldogs program.
All right, the Buccaneers pick is in. Booger promised us yesterday they were going to go defense, and they took a wide receiver.
I think they have to go defense now, Green.
Well, we're going to find out right now. The Buccaneers and one of their legends out here to announce their selection.
Simeon.
What's up, Green Bay? Yeah, I love the energy. Love the energy. And with that in mind, with the 53rd pick in the NFL 2025 draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Benjamin Morrison, DB, Notre Dame.
So they do go defense. He played just 6 games last year because of a hip injury, so he missed the run to the title game, but he really made his mark in 2022 as a true freshman with 6 interceptions.
Yeah, he really did. 6 interceptions there, 10 pass breakups and 3 interceptions. The next year, Greeny in 2023, and then this past year, the hip injury in October. Think about Benjamin Morrison, where he would have been had he not gotten hurt. He'd have been probably in that first round discussion. Got a really good feel in coverage. His eyes mirror with the receiver and the football. Locates the ball with the back to the quarterback, like that aspect of his game. Plays through the catch point, and he'll do his job in run support. Benjamin Morrison, Lou, had talent bugs. It's a shame he got hurt. That's kind of the theme of a lot of these players that we had highly rated back in August. Got hurt. Medical is important. Coming off the hip injury for Benjamin Morrison. Kid showed talent at Notre Dame.
If the medical is clear, this is going to be a good fit down in Tampa. They have one young corner in Zion McCollum they feel really good about. The other corner, Jamel Dean, off injured. They need some DBs. They traded Carlton Davis away. They have to find guys that can cover in this Todd Bowles blitz scheme.
Okay. Well, let's bring it back here because let's just listen to the crowd go crazy as the hometown Green Bay Packers are on the clock. You can hear the enthusiasm. What a scene it was last night when they selected the wide receiver for the first time in round 1 since 2002. And they're excited here again tonight. See the cheeseheads on the stage. I believe that's Joe Thomas wearing one. The Packers pick is in. And here comes the commissioner with some guests to make the announcement.
All right, Green Bay, make some noise. I have some special guests up here to help make the Green Bay Packers choice, so give it up for Packers legend Jordy Nelson.
What's up, Packer country? Thanks, Commissioner. I also want to introduce Kenya and Marcellus from the Boys and Girls Club in Green Bay. We're recognizing incredible youth like them as part of our Inspire Change initiative. The NFL works with Boys and Girls Club nationwide to help young people find their voices, advocate for issues important to them, and become future leaders. Let's have these leaders help me announce the pick.
With the 54th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
the Green Bay Packers select
Anthony Belton, tackle, North Carolina State. Go Packers!
So they go offense again. His nickname is Escalade, and the operative word is enormous. 6'6", 336 pounds, Mel, with long arms out of Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, ran a 5.26 40. Think about it as a run blocker, the hand strength, the power, ease of movement, getting defenders off their mark, excels in torque blocks, like that Seals, able to do damage on his second level. The size, he is mammoth, and he can play guard or tackle moving forward in the NFL. Pass protection, the nimbleness of foot to protect the edge and possess easy anchor against power rushes. That's the thing that was impressive to me. So the automatic move inside, I'm not buying it. I still think you can play outside of tackle. Alertness when it comes to dealing with twists and stunts. Anthony Belton is going to help your offensive line. If it's not tackle, it's going to be guard, but I would not bet against them on the outside. When the edge, with edge rushers, Lewis, I think the versatility that he provides, he will be a starting offensive lineman in one of those two spots.
Yeah, what he is he's nasty. He reminds me of Mekhi Becton. I could see that kind of transition. A guy who slides inside and just dominates people with his size and his physicality. It's just about cleaning up the technique, footwork in the run game, pass set footwork, not stepping up or getting back off the ball. When he gets his hands on you, it's over. It's a wrap for you. When they needed it, they ran behind Anthony Belton. I think he will be a two-position player. He'll have guard tackle flexibility, but I could definitely see him being an absolute road grader at guard in the mold of a Mekhi Becton.
All right, Jim Harbaugh's Chargers have made their selection. They took Omarion Hampton, the running back, in round one last night. We'll see which side of the ball they choose to go. Here are the Chargers ready to announce their selection.
What up, Wisconsin? Feel good to be back home, baby. Boat Nation, I see you over there. With the 55th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Tre Harris, wide receiver, Mississippi.
All right, Tre Harris, first team All-SEC last year with over 1,000 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. But you want to hear a great story? We're going to show it to you here. He was a quarterback in high school in Lafayette, Louisiana, where his primary target was a fellow you may have heard of, Malik Neighbors. So what you are seeing is Tre Harris, wide receiver, Ole Miss, now of the Chargers, throwing a touchdown to Malik Neighbors in high school. That's where it all began. Now the path takes him to L.A.
Tell you what, when he got to Jackson Dart, he made some plays. He only played in 8 games, injured this year. Had he been out there the full season, goes a little higher than this. Still led the Rebels in receptions with 60. Look at that, the average per catch, 17.8 yards per catch with 7 touchdowns. He had some huge games, 11 catches against Kentucky for 176 yards and a touchdown. One-handed grab there. His hands, his concentration, the size, expansive catch radius. He can win in tight coverage. He's not a speed merchant by any stretch of the imagination. They definitely qualify still as a down-the-field threat. Power element to his game doesn't do when it comes after the catch. He's got power. I tell you what, he runs hard. Yep. He will take on people. Corners, if you don't want to tackle him, he'll run through you. He can run around you. So he's a beast with the ball in his hands because he runs with authority and he runs with an attitude.
The fact that he only played 8 games in 2024, that really hurt Ole Miss. It hurt their run to try and get in the college football playoffs. Had he not gotten injured, I think Ole Miss would have made a run at the college football playoffs. They still were able to put up points. Jackson Dart still having a tremendous year. But this kid is a big playmaker waiting to happen. In 2023, he was unstoppable.
Chargers took a receiver in the second round last year as well. Ladd McConkey led the team in receiving yards as a rookie. The Bears are on the clock. We'll hear them get booed next from Green Bay.
That might be the first time since we've been working
All right,
together.
we are back in Green Bay. And a quick note here, Shedeur Sanders, one of the most talked about players throughout this entire draft process, remains available as the Bears prepare to make the 56th pick in this draft, number 24 in the second round. We've had 3 quarterbacks taken overall in this draft. The first of them, Cam Ward, last night going number 1. Then Jackson Dart went to the Giants earlier tonight. Tyler Shough of Louisville was drafted by New Orleans. Meanwhile, the least popular team in Green Bay, the Chicago Bears, are now set to announce their pick. And we've got here we are. Here we go with a special guest to make the announcement.
Green Bay, Wisconsin! Is that all you got? Come on, you can be louder than that! I know y'all mad because championship gold looks good on the blue and orange. But in all seriousness, Green Bay, we are in the shadow of Lambeau Field. And I love Lambeau Field because the king of the North, the best quarterback in the NFC North, Caleb Williams, is undefeated at Lambeau Field. And in case y'all aren't familiar with my game, let me remind you, I am a visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth freaking Rollins. And I am here to tell you that with the 56th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the greatest franchise in the NFL, the Chicago Bears select Ezeiruaku, tackle from Boston College. Let's burn it down and bear down Chicago.
Okay. Ezeiruaku, you start with the size. He's a legit 6'8", a fraction over that, actually, and 316 pounds. And great experience on both sides. Started a lot at right and left tackle.
No doubt, he offers position flexibility. But think about this. At 6'8", 316 pounds, you may think someone that big is not an athlete. He plays light on his feet, heavy hands, position flexibility, able to move. The only thing I don't like about him, and you would guess that, he plays a little bit high, but he's been training with Skurton, the former New England Patriot offensive line coach, who's a guru from an offensive line standpoint. So he's been working with him. So I have no doubt that from a technical standpoint, this young man will get his pad level down. But I love the athletic ability of a 6'8" guy.
I tell you, he adjusts really well to twists.
Yes.
I enjoyed watching this kid because he really emerged. He had 36 starts to talk about at right tackle and left tackle. He neutralized inside pressure as well. Ezeiruaku made a lot of progress at Boston College.
But they liked him at Boston College. Bill O'Brien, again, they had a solid offensive line, solid run game this year. Chicago continuing to bolster that offense at every position.
Well, the new offensive-minded head coach excited about what they've been able to add. Meanwhile, let's stay in the division here. We've had a run in the NFC North. The Detroit Lions on the clock, and I see the commissioner making his way out with some special visitors as well to announce Detroit's selection.
We are honored to have with us the surviving family members of the United States Army Specialist Christopher Kuby, who will announce the selection of the Detroit Lions second-round pick. As a proud soldier, Christopher deployed to Iraq, where he was tragically killed in an IED explosion in July 2007 at age 18. Specialist Kuby's service was marked by numerous awards and decorations, including the Bronze Star Medal and the Purple Heart. Christopher grew up in Michigan and was a lifelong fan of the Lions, passionately cheering his home team whenever he could. We honor him and thank his family and TAPS, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, which offers care to those grieving the loss of a military loved one. And now, I'm going to turn it over to John and David, who will announce in honor of their brother and son. Let them give him a cheer, baby. Let's hear it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And here we go. The Denver Broncos have traded the 57th pick to the Detroit Lions. With the 57th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select
Tate Ratledge, guard from Georgia.
Yeah! Go Lions!
Well, he has great size, and he has great hair. He has a mullet that was the stuff of social media legend at the Combine. As we watch this gorgeous moment here with the commissioner and the family. Again, Ratledge, there's the mullet we were talking about. Two-time national champ, first-team All-American in his final season in Athens, despite missing 4 games.
Look, new offensive coordinator Johnny Morton is going to absolutely love him. He dealt with an ankle injury, missed a couple games in 2024. But this guy is legit. He's excellent balance, functional strength. He's consistent. He can pull. He can get to the second level. He can lock up on linebackers. He's got quick feet. You see the hand use. You see how he can punch, reset, get control of 3 techniques. He can block them one-on-one. There's really nothing he can't do. You can basically pencil this guy in, I believe, at right guard for Detroit, and he's going to fit right in with the culture Dan Campbell has built up there. You got to love this pick. Tate Ratledge, one of the more impressive offensive linemen, regardless of position, that I watched this year.
All right, the Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock, and their pick is ready. Here they come with the announcement for Las Vegas here in round 2.
NFL fans here in Green Bay, are you having some fun tonight? You guys are absolutely amazing, and I get the privilege of representing some other amazing fans, that being Raider Nation. I was blessed to play 13 years with the Silver and Black, and the man who used to always make this pick is a Raider legend, an NFL Hall of Famer, Willie Brown. And I want to give a shout out to Willie Brown. His tradition in this place was he wanted to give a heartfelt appreciation and thanks to all the mothers of the NFL community. It's 2 weeks till Mother's Day, and he always wished them an early Happy Mother's Day. If you're a fan of the NFL, if you're a player in the NFL, if you're a coach in the NFL, you likely had a very supportive, encouraging mom or mom figure that sacrificed to make that dream possible. Tonight, we have another dream being made. With the 58th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Jack Besh, wide receiver, Texas Christian. Just win, baby.
Well, this is among the most emotional stories of this draft, and we will tell it in detail in a moment. That's Jack. His brother Tiger was a football player who was killed in the terror attack in New Orleans on New Year's Day. We'll talk about that in a moment. A month later to the day, Jack caught the game-winning touchdown on the final play of the Senior Bowl. He is a transfer from LSU who had 62 catches and 9 touchdowns last year at TCU. Mel.
Tell you what, he's got everything you want. You talk about the attitude, the approach. And you talk about early on, you thought he was going to be a star at LSU. Yes. And we talked about what he was going to be able to do throughout his career at TCU. He led them in receptions with 62, receiving yards with 1,034, and receiving touchdowns with 9. Remember, Savion Williams was a Wildcat quarterback, had moved to that position later in the year. You talk about winning regional state titles in football as a junior and senior member of the St. Thomas Sports basketball team. He won 3 straight championships. He's athletic, inviting target due to his length. I mean, he's throwing up. He will go get it. He will get the contested catches. Very good hand. Tracks the high points of the football. I thought he was dangerous after the catch. Thought he made things happen with the ball in his hands after the catch. Really good route runner. Creates a lot of separation. I'll tell you what, you talk about Jack Besh. There you go. You think you got him covered, you don't, Bush.
Hands are great. You talk about the technical aspects of the route running. But Green, the number one thing I'll say, from a football character standpoint, it stands out when he steps on the field, the competitiveness, how hard he goes at a workout, at a practice, anything he does. Great football character this young man possesses.
He's a terrific player, and as I mentioned in the Senior Bowl, this was a month after the tragic event involving his brother being killed. He caught that game-winning touchdown at the Senior Bowl. It's extraordinarily emotional, and as Jack enters the league, it's about a lot more than football as he carries the memories and the legacy of his older brother Tiger with him.
My brother's name is Tiger Besh. He was my best friend. He was my mentor. He was the person I always looked up to, the person I always wanted to be. He died January 1st, 2025 in the terror attacks in New Orleans on Bourbon Street.
Breaking news, a pickup truck plowed into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street.
14 innocent victims all dying.
He was the person who first saw greatness in me. He went on to play college football at Princeton University up in New Jersey.
Tiger Besh, he is gone for 70.
Whenever a team gets me, they're not only meeting Jack Besh, but they're meeting Tiger Besh. I have 2 different tattoos to remember him and to represent him. So the first one I have is 7 to Heaven. It's the number he wore in high school and in college. And the second one is Roman numerals. It's right over my heart. It's his birthday, January 28th, 1997, and the day he died, January 1st, 2025. And they just go and represent that they're both on my left side, that he's my other half, and he'll forever be my other half.
And so obviously there's so much more than football involved in this story, and the emotions that you see for Jack and for his family and the memory of his brother. Just an overwhelming story in so many ways.
It absolutely is. I mean, It's an inspirational story. It's something that will stick with people who follow football, who follow Jack Besh's personal story forever. And he's just someone who's just easy to cheer for. He's just easy to cheer for. Las Vegas got a good one here.
You can see the tears in the room. You know, they are tears of joy and excitement and tears of another sort as well, with all the family has been through. There are a lot of people around the NFL very happy for Jack Besh and his family in this moment as they get to celebrate his selection in the second round of the NFL Draft. And on we go here from Green Bay. The commissioner is making his way out, and I believe the commissioner is going to make a special announcement here before the Ravens make their selection. We'll see if the commissioner does indeed. No, the commissioner will not. Once again, getting a little information. We'll take a short break here, one way or another. Obviously, an extraordinary night. The NFL Draft is about so many things, and football sometimes is only one of them. We'll continue from Green Bay in just a moment. Back in Green Bay, time for another look at Mel's Best Available, brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Still had the 5th and 18th highest rated player on the board, still available. Obviously, Shador's still out there, but Mike Green, 18th highest rated player, had a great year at Marshall, getting after the quarterback, one of the top edge rushers in this draft. And of course, Jared Wilson, center out of Georgia, best center, best anchor in this draft. Only a one-year starter, though. Talented athlete, that's football coming up in the next few years once he's coached up in the NFL and gained more experience. He'll ease in, but he can play guard with the athleticism and the speed for a big 300-plus pounder.
Well, if it sounds like there's a little extra energy in Mel's voice, it's because the Ravens are about to make a selection. What does your hometown team need? Well, we'll find out as they are set to announce their pick right now.
Good evening, guys. You may also know me as Wise Farmer Brown, where at North Carolina, we have founded First Fruits Farm, where we have grown, harvested, and donated more than 2 million pounds of food to help with hunger relief and hunger throughout our nation. And so our motto is to never stop giving, never stop loving, and never stop growing, so that no child will go without food. My son JW and I, we have the honor and the privilege of presenting tonight's pick for the Baltimore Ravens. And with the 59th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens have selected
Mike Green, linebacker, Marshall.
Let's go Ravens fly!
Well, there's that man you were talking about, Mel. Transfer from Virginia, led the nation with 17 sacks last year. Showed up in every game, had a tackle for loss in 12 of their 13 games and at least one sack in 10 of them.
Yeah, tremendous improvement between 2023 and 2024. Production went from 43 tackles to 84, 9 tackles for loss to 23, 4.5 sacks to 17, 1 forced fumble to 3. I'll tell you what, he was super disruptive, not just in numbers, but speed to power. 28 reps, super strong, explosive, spin move. You talk about it, that's Ohio State. He had a sack in that game. Here, he just dominated against Pitt. Outstanding football player. Southern Miss, 3 sacks. Appalachian State, 2.5 sacks. Like I said, 23 tackles for us, 17 sacks. Disengages, flows to the football book. This kid can get after it.
And I just love how he rushes the passer. We often talk about the 3 phases of a pass rush: the get off, the move, and the ability to close. Next to Abdul Carter, he's got the best close in this draft. And then you better be relentless. You better go get the football. There was some concerns about whether or not he was powerful enough. You think this isn't power, Louis Riddick? Oh. That's what I call power. So don't tell me about this young man doesn't have power. It shouldn't be any concern whether or not he can hold up on the end. The only thing he's got to do is continue to get better and better, put on a little weight. But all the tools are there to be a double-digit sack guy in this league.
Hey, he went to the perfect place. Play like a Raven, right? The whole culture thing down there. Mike Green, his tapes, he's nasty now. He is nasty. He's got a bag of moves, but he's just got power and nasty.
All right, the next selection is in. The Broncos ready to announce their pick here at number 60.
Oh, baby. It's a blessing to be here. Broncos country, let me hear you. Wisconsin Badgers, baby. We got another one into the College Football Hall of Fame. We did it. Now, with that said, with the 60th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select R.J. Harvey, running back, UCF.
Well, he's 24 years old. Interesting story. Originally recruited by Virginia as a quarterback, transferred to UCF, tore his ACL. When he got healthy, he exploded. Last 2 years, just under 3,500 yards of offense, Lewis, and 43 touchdowns.
This guy is instant juice, man. Instant juice at 5'8", 205, 4.38 and a 40, 38 bursts. This guy can get in and out of a hole in a hurry. You'll see him, and then he's gone. This instant acceleration, ripping off big runs. You see him here on just the halfback wide, taking up the seam, catch the ball, and he's out the gate. You aren't going to catch him. You aren't going to catch him. You aren't going to catch him. Sean Payton will figure out a way to get this guy the football and have him be an electric playmaker in a game that right now is putting a premium on plus 20-yard plays in the pass game and plus 10-yard plays in the run game. R.J. Harvey's going to give it to you.
Mel, you would thought that perhaps they would go running back in round 1. They went a different direction. Instead, in round 2, they take the runner, R.J. Harvey. The picks are starting to come quickly now. Washington is on the clock, and their selection is in. Here comes the second pick of the night for the Commanders.
What's up, Commanders fans? Commanders, where are you? Check this out. With the 61st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 3-time Super Bowl champions, 5 times world champions, Washington Commanders selects Trey Amos, defensive back, Mississippi.
Well, Lewis, you talk about great ball skills. He had 15 pass breakups last year, which was second best in the nation, and was first team All-SEC.
He's got it all, Greeny. He's got it all at 6'1", 195 pounds, 4.43 in the 40. Look, his defensive coordinator down at Ole Miss, Pete Golding, said he reminded him of this guy, Patrick Surtain, with his ability to get up on the line of scrimmage with his length in press coverage, remain patient, be able to stay in phase, don't panic. If a guy gets on top of you, play the eyes and the hands, and then just break up the pass. This looks exactly the way Patrick Surtain plays this ball and this fade down on the goal line. He has that kind of thing, the physicality, the ability to play strong through the catch point. First, you get the jam. Here, a two-hand jam. Again, remain impatient, stay square, continue to fight, get the ball out at the catch point. He has that as well. And you see Patrick Surtain, you see him here going up against Devontae Adams, two-hand jam, square shoulders, no false steps, finish on the slant, get the ball out. He has that as well. And when you're talking about a Washington football team that needs another lockdown guy on the outside, look, Marshawn Lattimore just didn't look the same as he did in New Orleans when he got to Washington last year. Philadelphia exposed him. We don't know if he's healthy or not. We don't know what he's going to look like in 2025. But I'll tell you this, Trey Amos is going to play a big role in getting that defense back to where it needs to be.
All right, so he goes off the board perhaps a little later than we had expected. We'll take a short break. The Bears have had a very busy night. They've already made 2 picks in this round 2, and they will make another as we continue from Green Bay right after this.
Hey, Ride, I'll probably do it after the round's over. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the 2025 NFL Draft. We are presented by Courtyard by Marriott, a member of Marriott Bonvoy. And the fans in Green Bay have had a lot of chance to celebrate here, having the draft in their town, and they've had a lot of opportunities to boo during this round 2, because the Chicago Bears, with some maneuvering around, are about to make their 3rd selection of this second round, and we still have round 3 to come later tonight. Here comes Chicago with pick number 62.
Y'all still booing, huh?
Y'all must be booing this bad weather y'all gotta live in year round. Cause I know y'all not booing the best team in the division. But on a serious note, with the 62nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Shemar Turner, defensive tackle from Texas A&M.
So
look,
I
love you, baby.
First defensive selection they make in this draft, Mel. He started 35 games for the Aggies. He had 10 quarterback sacks, 6'3", 290 out of DeSoto, Texas.
Tell you what, for 2023, he was impactful. Third on the team with 10.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks. That big play production dropped off in 2024. He's dealing with a foot issue, Boat.
I know that he's dealing with the foot issue, but I love how he plays the run. Better run defender than a pass rusher right now because he uses his hands. Hands fighter, able to disengage and get off guys and make tackles inside the tackle to tackle. I think he can become a better pass rusher if he can learn to use those hands, learn to flip his hip. But he's a violent player, high motor player. He can play the nose tackle, more of a nose tackle than a 3 technique. I think when you put him in this defense, he will be able to dominate centers in this league.
He gets high with his pads a little bit right in the run game. Yeah. When they put him on the move, though, he can create some disruption.
We are
rapidly
approaching the end of this second round. The Kansas City Chiefs pick is in. They will announce their selection. Then the Super Bowl champion Eagles will go, and then we'll be on to round 3. And here comes one of the Chiefs legends to announce their next selection.
Chiefs Kingdom, let me hear you. With the 63rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Omar Norman-Lott, defensive tackle, Tennessee. Let's go, Chiefs!
He's a California kid, played his first 3 seasons at Arizona State, then 2 with the Vols, where he amassed 9.5 sacks, only had 5 career starts in his 5 college seasons.
Yeah, it wasn't a regular starter. It really was a third down pass rush specialist. I remember going down to see Tennessee play this year against Florida, and I was sitting there watching him in practice, and this guy was just beating everybody. You know, on the tape, it just showed up. Just excellent get-off, very quick hands, great competitive temperament. He shows that Aaron Donald cross-chop book that really just had offensive guards at the college level going, what the heck was that? The play recognition, you know, getting out on screen, stopping his pass rush, flattening down the line of scrimmage. He had it all. Look, I can see where Brett Veach saw. This is a guy, when you pair him with Chris Jones on the inside, offensive guard's going to have some problems on third down.
You mentioned Aaron Donald, 6'1", 290 pounds. People may say he's small, quintessential 3 technique in the passing game. He will give guards fits in this league because of his quickness and his get off and his ability to get vertical in a hurry.
We're looking for storylines in a draft. He is the 9th defensive tackle selected so far. With
we back, baby.
Remaining in the second
We are
round.
back.
Booger McFarland is loving it. We got 1 pick to go in this round number 2. The defending champs will make it. We're here from the Eagles right after this as the draft continues from Green Bay. We're back in Green Bay, the hosts of this year's National Football League Draft. It is a sports market unlike any other in the country. These are the fans who've gathered in the homes that are all around the area here surrounding legendary Lambeau Field. These Packers fans are having a wonderful time. Perhaps not as much fun as the Eagles fans had last year watching their team win the Super Bowl. And the Eagles thus will make the final pick of the second round of the draft here tonight in Green Bay, and their selection is ready.
Hello, Wisconsin! I'm honored to be here representing the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Go Birds! With the 64th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles select Andrew Makuba, defensive back, Texas.
Four-year starter at safety, had a huge senior season with 5 interceptions, strong against the run as well. All three of you guys absolutely love him. Began his college career at Clemson, spent 3 years there before transferring to Austin.
I'll tell you what, for his size, he plays like a much bigger safety. He's 5'11 and a quarter, 186 pounds. He hits like a linebacker. He's a smart football player, recognizes, diagnosed. Well, he had 1 career interception in 3 years at Clemson. He had 5 interceptions at Texas in this 1 year, 69 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, Lou. I look at a kid who hits like a linebacker. Reminds me of the Raiders back in the day with Atkinson and Tatum. Wow, he will light you up.
Hey, he is everything you want in a DB. Everything. Everything. Instincts, competitiveness, tackling, man-to-man coverage, zone coverage instincts. That hit that he had in the SEC Championship, oh my goodness. Talk to Steve Sarkisian about this young man. He said the only thing he doesn't have is ideal size. That's it. Everything else he has.
We are headed to the 3rd round, and before we get there will be a special presentation being made on the stage here. We've gone 2 rounds into this draft. You see the Eagles are celebrating. The Giants will make the first pick of round 3. But again, a special presentation on the stage right now in Green Bay.
Salute to Service represents the NFL's unwavering dedication to honoring, empowering, and connecting with our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Tonight, the NFL would like to take this moment to recognize the men and women of our armed forces. If you are currently serving or have ever served in the United States military, please join these outstanding service members, and if able, please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your service.
Tonight, the celebration on the stage, a beautiful moment from the National Football League. And we continue now on into round 3. The New York Giants will make the first selection. We've been busy here tonight, and the picks will be 5 minutes apart here in the 3rd round. The Giants set to announce the first pick of round 3.
To all of our fans, you look amazing out there, and you look even better filling our stadiums on game day. So thank you for that. With the 65th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Darius Alexander, defensive tackle from Toledo.
He played a lot of football in 6 years at Toledo, Mel. 59 games in total, started 29 of them. and lined up pretty much everywhere on the D-line. So he has great versatility in his game.
Really does. This is a great pick for the Giants. 39th on the big board in terms of overall players. 25 years old. Think about a kid, 6'4", 305. He said scheme versatile, defensive end, defensive tackle. Ran 4.96. 40 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss. Had an interception. He was all over the field. Played in 57 games at Toledo. Look at this past year. 7 tackles against Miami, Ohio. 3 for loss, 2 sacks. The Pitt game, he had 6 stops, a sack, a pick 6. We're talking about versatility along the defensive line. He gives you that. Athletic prowess, run stops. He gets into the backfield book. This kid I thought would be maybe an early to mid-second rounder. He gets into the 3rd round.
He's another guy that I think can be that big 3 technique at 6'3", 305. I just love his movement skills, his ability to use his hands, his explosiveness. He can move up and down the line of scrimmage. As a big man, he can change direction with the best of them. I think his best football is still ahead of him at the 3 techniques.
Well, I'll tell you what, you better be able to pass protect against the New York Giants. They've got some horses now.
That's for sure. Now the Kansas City Chiefs will make the 2nd pick of round 3.
With the 66th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Ashton Gelati, defensive end, Louisville.
Here's another one who can rush the passer. 22.5 sacks over the last 3 years and led the nation in quarterback hurries last year.
Look, Kansas City Chiefs general manager Brett Veach, thinking back to the Super Bowl, he said, look, I just got to beat things up here on both the offensive and defensive line. And what does he wind up doing? He winds up getting the tackle on the offensive side of the ball, and now he winds up getting one guy who's a pass rush specialist, and now he gets Ashton Gelati, who can play both defensive tackle and defensive end. At Louisville, they used him off the ball in a 2-point stance as kind of a joker. He can play the run. He can hold double teams. He's got good instincts. He's got great power, shorter arms, so maybe he's a better 3 technique. Maybe he's a better interior pass rusher. But clearly, they had a directive this offseason, which was we will not let happen to us in the Super Bowl happen again, where we get dominated on the line of scrimmage in any way, shape, or form. And you see it right there. Josh Simmons will be a starter for them. Norman-Lott, him and Chris Jones will be a problem. And Gelati, they'll move him up and down the line of scrimmage.
All right, we'll take a quick break. The Cleveland Browns are on the clock. It's one team that you might think could consider a quarterback. We'll see if we get any more of those tonight as we continue from Green Bay. Welcome back to Green Bay as we continue in round 3 now of the 2025 NFL Draft. A quick reminder that we had 2 quarterbacks selected in round 1 last night. We had 1 selected in round 2 earlier tonight. That was Tyler Shough, who was selected by New Orleans. There were high-profile quarterbacks still on the board, including Shedeur Sanders from Colorado and Jalen Milroe from Alabama. The Cleveland Browns selection is ready at number 67.
With the 67th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Harold Fannin Jr., tight end, Bowling Green.
All right, it is not an exaggeration to say he's among the most productive tight ends in college football history. He had 117 catches last year. He's the first tight end ever to lead the nation in total receiving yards and in total receptions.
This guy is just a baller, a flat-out baller, 6'3", 241 pounds. And he's going to wow you with his testing numbers with 4.74 in the 40. But man, can he play. Competitive at the line of scrimmage, blocking as a wire off the balls of you, catches the ball cleanly, and his run after the catch. He is a problem as far as his competitiveness for defensive backs. If you don't square up on him, you don't wrap up, he's going to embarrass you. He is going to fight for everything he gets. He's courageous over the middle, can make the tough catches. He reminds me of a Baltimore tight end named Ezeiruaku that when he came out of school, people thought he doesn't test very well, he doesn't run very well, he's probably going to be just an average pro. He's a fantastic pro. Harold Fannin will be a fantastic pro.
All right, the Las Vegas Raiders are back on the clock. Again, there are 5 minutes between selections here in round number 3, and the Raiders are ready to make their next pick.
Here we go! Fans of Green Bay, you guys are incredible. After the last pick, I went out there, I almost didn't make it back. I love you guys. there is no better team sport in the world than professional football. Do you agree? And there are no better fans in the world than NFL fans. Do you agree? I am thrilled to get the privilege to welcome another young man into the silver and black. I believe he has a commitment to excellence, and we are thrilled to get, with the 68th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Darian Porter, defensive back, Iowa State. Let's go.
Well, he spent 6 seasons at Iowa State, initially as a wide receiver, played primarily on special teams before switching to corner, where he started 7 games last year.
No doubt, Greeny, you talk about the upside. Upside is here, 6'3", 195 pounds. He's only been playing corner a couple of years, just starting at cornerback this year, but he has got rare upside, rare length. And somewhere Al Davis is smiling because this is a testing scheme, and 4.30 in the 40, speed to burn, outstanding arm length, the ability to use that arm length and strength to control the defensive back, able to read the quarterback, can track it in zone coverage. He's got the frame to add things on. He's really good at coming down with the 50-50 balls. If you're looking at a cornerback that can have the upside, the ability to go up, play man-to-man, read the quarterback in zone, and continue to get better and better. His best football is ahead of him, but the measurables, the speed, all that is there for the makings of a really good cornerback.
He's got it all, man. This guy, he is a long, rangy, developing corner that has got nothing but upside. The ball skills and the speed in that body type. Great combination.
All right, so we just saw John Cena last week at WrestleMania. I understand we're going to see John Cena making a special appearance at this special event as well. John Cena, the legend whose presence transcends wrestling and transcends even sports, has a special announcement to make right now.
The NFL Draft, what a night. Energy, potential, outlandish suits. I love it all. I am still milking a bit of a WrestleMania hangover, so you won't see me in Green Bay, but you know what? That's kind of my thing, right? It's okay. It's all right. We still have someone special helping you with the Patriots pick, coming all the way from London, I guess. From London? From London? Is that right? That's right, from London.
Look, I heard London, I heard NFL, and I figured those tickets are going to sell out fast. So, you know, thought I'd come a few months early, ahead of the London game.
That's interest for you. Handsome and punctual.
All right, mate. Thank you. Enough of the chit-chat. All right, let's not keep the Patriot fans waiting. Back to Green Bay for the New England's pick.
Stars from all walks of life. Here's
With the 69th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Kyle Williams, wide receiver, Washington State.
Boy, did he have 2 super productive seasons with the Cougars after transferring from UNLV. Over 2,000 receiving yards and 20 touchdowns.
One of the more underpublicized stars in college football at Washington State out in Pullman. 61 catches 2 years ago, 70 this past year. Went from 14 a catch to 17, 1 a catch, and 14 touchdowns. He did it against quality competition. He did it against everybody. The kid can fly. He is outstanding with the ball in his hands after the catch. He can go deep. He can beat you in the middle of the field. He's a really good route runner. This kid is electrifying. I love Kyle Williams. This is all about making Drake May really good and great. Will Campbell, left tackle. Travion Henderson, the game breaker. And this kid can go in a blink 40 yards. He is fast. And I'll tell you what, versatile. He's not a guy who's a one-trick pony. He's not just a deep threat. He will do the dirty work. He'll block. He'll go into traffic and make tough catches. I love Kyle Williams, one of the more underrated receivers in this draft.
Yeah, it's the run after the catch, man. As soon as he gets the ball in his hands, he turns into a running back instantly. Tracks the deep ball beautifully. Him and Drake May will hook up on some big plays up there in Foxborough for sure.
All right, the Detroit Lions will make the next selection here. We're up to pick number 70, and they have one of their legends here to make the announcement.
Packer Nation, what's up?
It's 2-0 in this place. It feels amazing. You know, 1 year ago on this weekend, I cried because I thought I was going to be a Packer. But the Kings of the NFC North came and saved me. Detroit, baby, one pride. Pipe down, pipe down, pipe down. The Jacksonville Jaguars have traded the 70th pick to the Detroit Lions. Let's see who my future teammate will be. With the 70th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Isaac Tisla, wide receiver, Arkansas. One pride.
And so they add on the offensive side after they had gone primarily on the line of scrimmage with their first two picks, offense and defense, and now the outside position.
Look, I don't understand why Isaac Tisla didn't have more targets at Arkansas. They just didn't use this guy, but I can guarantee you Detroit's going to use him, and Jared Goff's going to say, I got a 6'3", 214-pound slot guy who runs 4.43, plays like he's 180 pounds. Are you kidding me? This guy's got juice, man. He's got courage. He's got a huge catch radius. And once he catches the ball, he's out the gate. He's out the gate. That 4.43 speed shows up on the field. But again, the mismatch on the inside with his size and physicality is going to be a problem for people, for defensive backs in the NFL. Picture him now with Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. They have got some dudes. They're just getting better and better up there in Detroit. This is a big-time pickup for them.
The New Orleans Saints are on the clock. They drafted an offensive tackle, Kelvin Banks, last night. They took Tyler Shough, the quarterback, tonight. Where they go in round 3, we'll find out next. We're back in Green Bay, and Mel's best available quarterbacks are brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott. Ezeiruaku Nor Sanders still on the board. So is Jalen Milroe and other high-profile quarterback candidates. Kyle McCord, Will Howard, Quinn Ewers among those. And the nationwide prospect cam shows us Quinn Ewers, the Texas quarterback, watching there in Chico, Texas, waiting to hear his name called as we are into round 3. The New Orleans Saints on the clock. They took a quarterback earlier tonight. In round 2, they selected Tyler Shough from Louisville. That's the only quarterback who's been drafted tonight. So all the others still waiting to hear their names called, and the Saints' wait is over. They're ready to announce their selection now.
All right. With the 71st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Vernon Broughton, defensive end, Texas.
He's out of Houston, appeared in 57 games for the Longhorns, had 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles last year, checked in at 6'5", 311.
Had great first year as a starter. He showed a lot of promise. You go back to that Texas A&M game, he had a couple sacks, a couple hurries, a fumble recovery, 6 tackles in the Longhorns SEC championship game against Georgia. Like I say, showed proud, quick at the snap, quick read reaction skills as well. Shows 2 attributes. You talk about allowing to play the run and get after the quarterback. I thought this season he put it all together. Finished with a career high 39 tackles. That's more than he had in his career prior to the 2024 season. 4 sacks, double his career total coming into the season. So he really, at the right time, started to show that he could become a factor in the backfield, getting after the quarterback, and I thought he played the run well, also played with a lot of energy.
35-inch arms, man, and he knows how to use them. Real fast hands, lots of power, very disruptive against good quality competition. Texas A&M, Ohio State, he showed up consistently for me.
Pick number 72 is in, the Buffalo Bills. So good the last few years, so close, and yet so far. Looking for the players to put them over the top. Here's their pick in round 3.
Thank you, NFL, Buffalo Bills, for having me out to make this pick. Being a graduate of Wisconsin, I know how y'all party in Green Bay. Y'all doing it right. Y'all doing it right. With the 72nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Landon Jackson, defensive end, Arkansas.
16 sacks for his college career, spent the 1 year at LSU out of high school, then the past 3 at Arkansas, and the stock really rose at the combine when he ran under 4.7.
No doubt. You talk about a long head, 6'6", 264 pounds, tremendous athlete, running 4.6, 40 inches in the vertical jump, Greeny, and outstanding. And I do mean outstanding run defender that has position flexibility, can set the edge against the tackle. And when I say dominate, he can absolutely dominate tight ends. And if you want to go with a NASCAR package, you can slide him down inside against the 3 technique. Has got to do a little better job of using his length from a pass rush standpoint. It's got a good speed to power to crush the pocket. Needs to get a little bit more versatility in the pass rush, but outstanding upside here with Landon Jackson.
Look, why so inconsistent? You saw the first 4 games this year, he didn't even have a sack. You know, he had 1 tackle for loss, and but 4 of the last 5 games he's got a sack. We saw that even 2 years ago. He played in spurts. You had to see a game where he gave you hope, and then the next couple games to be quiet. Why?
Got to be more consistent.
All right, the Jets took a tight end in round number 2. Let's see what they decide to do here in round number 3.
Shout out to the Jets here. This is 25 years for me getting drafted. I want to give a shout out to Shawn Ellis. I want to give a shout out to Chad Pennington and Anthony Beck, the 4 first-round picks we had in 2000. And also we got a free 99. We got a 3rd-round pick for Lavernius Cole from Florida State. With that being said, with the 73rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Ezeiruaku Thomas, DB, Florida State. Represent, man, represent.
That's exactly right. Ezeiruaku grew up 2 hours from Tallahassee. He was playing 37 games, just became a starter last year. Good size at 6'1.5". His older brother is Wanye, who plays for the Cowboys.
Yeah, look, Ezeiruaku has it all. He just doesn't have blazing top-end elite speed, but he's got plenty of it at 6'1", just under 200 pounds. He reminds me of Jalen Ramsey. He's not as fast as Jalen, but he's got that same kind of length and just dog mentality. The athleticism down the field to make spectacular plays on the ball. That's exactly what Jalen did when he was in college. He was able to go ahead and get up on the line of scrimmage, and he just has that small forward type of body type. They can just go up and take the ball away from people. He's got the instincts, the play recognition, where he's able to see what is coming, play wide receiver splits, play quarterback drops, and just make plays on the ball again. Jalen Ramsey, same type of thing that he's doing in the pros, same type of thing that he did in college. Play strong at the catch point and just disrupt everything at the line of scrimmage. And I tell you now, going to the New York Jets with Aaron Glenn, they've got a guy who can play inside, play at the star, play outside, play press. You know Aaron Glenn loved to play press at Detroit. This is exactly what Ezeiruaku is made for. His old defensive coordinator, Adam Fuller, said the kid does everything right. That's the kind of pro you're looking for.
Jets have made their pick. The Broncos will make the next one as we continue round 3 of the NFL Draft from Green Bay. It continues in just a moment, and we're still waiting to hear if any more quarterbacks have their names called in tonight's round 3.
Welcome back to the 2025 NFL Draft. Presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
And here we are back in Green Bay. Take a look again. Some of the unique pictures of this incredibly special football city. It's just unlike any other place you might ever go in professional sports. There's so many reasons, and the fans have turned up despite what is a very cold night here in Green Bay. Certainly they're accustomed to cold nights.
It's a little chilly
in this city.
A little bit.
Our crew is a little bit chilly, but the picks are coming hot and fast and furious, and the Broncos are set to make their next selection here as we work our way through round 3 on what has been a surprising night in a variety of ways. Here come the Broncos.
Woo! Broncos country, baby, back again. Hey, Broncos country, how about Super Bowl 32 against the Packers? Wisconsinites, you know I love you. And with that said, with the 74th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Pat Bryant, wide receiver, Illinois.
is out of Jacksonville, Florida. Had a big year last year, Mel. 54 catches, 10 touchdowns to Lewis.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 204 pounds. Didn't run the greatest 40, just right at about 4'6", but he can jump. 37-inch vertical, 10'4" broad. He's just real slippery and strong at the line of scrimmage as far as his release technique. Great deep ball tracking skills. Catch it over his shoulder. You see there, the stutter at the line of scrimmage, stack the wide receiver. Real crafty at the move point of the route, at the break point, strong after the catch. He reminds me with that 13, and when he works in the slot and how strong he plays, he reminds me of former New Orleans St. Michael Thomas. And I think he may remind Sean Payton of him as well. He'll use him the same way. You see him there on the slot fade, catch the ball over his shoulder. It's just so strong when people try to get up on him. That's why averaging 18.2 yards per catch, 10 TDs, one drop.
Lewis, the only player in the nation with 3 game-winning touchdowns in the final 2 minutes or overtime.
Yeah.
He came through in a clutch. Nebraska game. You think about where we were there. Rutgers game. Pat Bryant came up big. Bo Nix will love the kid. Hands, concentration, and a heck of a route runner.
49ers ready to go. They've taken 2 defensive linemen so far.
How's it going? How's it going? 25 years since I've been here. Let's go Bay Area. With the 75th pick in the 2025 draft, San Francisco 49ers select Nick Martin, Oklahoma State, linebacker.
Nick Martin led the Big 12 with 135 tackles and added 6 sacks 2 years ago, then hurt his knee and missed the final 7 games of last season.
One of many players, Greeny, that was banged up this year, unfortunately. A season-ending injury happened at the end of September. Up until that point, just flying around the field making big plays. And against Arkansas, he had 16 tackles in that game against the Razorbacks, 4.5 tackles for loss, and 3 hurries. Fast to the football. He's 5'11 and a half, 222 pounds. You'll see it here. 4'5", 3 speed. He's a running back, linebacker in high school. 26 reps. He is powerful. 38 vertical. Tremendously athletic. That 2023 season, most tackles since 1984. That's 40 years in Oklahoma State. 16 tackles for loss, 6 sacks. He had 10 or more tackles in 6 games, Bug.
You could definitely see him in that weak side linebacker position. Robert Saleh is now back in San Francisco. He's going to use him off the ball, weak side linebacker, see ball, get ball, or run and hit, downhill backer, sideline to sideline.
You think John Lynch didn't say to Robert Saleh, I'm going to give you some stuff to work with. I'm going to give you some size up front, and I'm going to give you a guy who's just going to run around like a maniac and try and knock people's heads off. Fred Warner will take one of those to run as a running mate for sure.
Dallas Cowboys set to announce their next pick. Went offensive line last night. Took an edge rusher and Donovan Ezeiruaku earlier tonight in round 2, and so we'll see what direction the Cowboys go here as they're set to make their 3rd round selection.
What a beautiful night out here in Green Bay, huh? All right. With the 76th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Savaiinaea Revel Jr., defensive back from East Carolina.
And there's another one, Mel. Again, the injury is such a huge factor. He's big, he's long, he's fast, he's physical. And going back to the start of the 2023 season, he had 11 pass breakups and 2 defensive touchdowns, but then the torn ACL.
Exactly, and that's where he was off to the great start. And it looked like he could be a first-round draft choice. Talk about length, long, athletic corners everybody wants. You see Azareye'h Thomas go in this round. You see a guy like Revel. You have to maybe wait a little bit. The Dallas Cowboys know they get a kid who should have been and would have been, had not been for that unfortunate injury, a much higher pick, Lou.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just a matter of whether or not this young man's going to be able to get back from that ACL reconstruction that he had in October and then get back out here on the football field and produce. But yeah, he has got some fantastic skills, long, athletic, good route recognition. It's just about the health with him and what it looks like going forward when he's going to be available.
And imagine if they're all healthy, when you can get Diggs and Bland and this guy healthy. That's 3 pretty good corners they can put out there on the field.
Jerry Jones looks excited in that Cowboys draft room. The Carolina Panthers at number 77 are next up, and they're ready to make their next pick.
Hey, Carolina, we stacking. Just know that. Just know that. The New England Patriots have traded the 77th pick to the Carolina Panthers. With the 77th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Princely Umanmielen. Let's go! Hey, University of Mississippi, the end.
He's an edge out of Ole Miss. That's exactly right. And he tied for the team lead with 10.5 sacks, making first team All-SEC in his only year at Mississippi, but not in the SEC. He played his first 3 years at Florida.
Look, Princely is one of those guys who has all the skills in the world. They challenged him down at Ole Miss this year to just be better as far as playing the run and making sure when they put him in a 6 or a 5 technique and they moved him down inside, would he be able to hold up at the point of attack? And there were times where he answered the bell. There were times where it seemed as though the technique just wasn't there, the will just wasn't there, but he has got nothing but upside as a pass rusher. When he gets off the ball and can play with leverage and get those long arms on you, he can rush with speed to power, he can turn the corner high side, and the guy can flat out finish. It is all ahead of this young man, and it's all up to him, because when you see him in person, he's built exactly like the modern day edge rusher needs to look.
I think the only thing he's missing, Lou, is just a little bit of strength. He gets stuck sometimes at the top of the rush, not enough power to finish. But if he gets that, he has the potential to be a double-digit sack guy in this league.
We are up to pick number 78. It's an exciting night in a variety of different ways. Think they're excited in Dallas? Take a look, fellas. Hey, Jerry Jones, we got a little dance going on.
What was that?
You go get it, Jerry.
What?
I don't know.
Welcome back to the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, Lambeau Field. We are coming up to pick 78 in the 3rd round and still have a slew of quarterbacks on the board that many thought would be picked by now. Colorado's Shedeur Sanders, Alabama's Jalen Milroe, Texas's Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, Kyle McCord, all still sitting out there, and clearly teams are being patient, waiting for quarterbacks. The Pittsburgh Steelers are coming up at 83, and soon enough we'll see if the Steelers decide to go in a quarterback direction. Let's go in for the next pick now.
All right, with the 78th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Jordan Burch, linebacker, Oregon.
He's a transfer from South Carolina, had 8.5 sacks last year, played in 58 college games. So he's experienced and he's versatile, Lewis.
Yeah, he is versatile. He's a guy who can play a 4 technique with his head up over the tackle in a 3-4 and an odd front, or you can put him outside in a 9 technique in a 4-3 as a base defensive end at 6'4", 279 pounds. When he cuts it loose, you see some fantastic pass rushing ability. Week 14 against Washington, he was in a wide 9 and hit the cross chop, and he was gone in a hurry. There you see him collapse in the pocket, outside in with just pure power from the right defensive end. But when he gets off the ball, there it is right there. There's the exact play. And you see him turn the corner, flatten down the line of scrimmage. That's the kind of thing that Jonathan Gannon is hoping that he can get out of Jordan Burch, because if he can get that consistently, him and Walter Nolan, they'll upgrade the pass rush in the front 4 play of the Arizona Cardinals.
I'd love to see him kick inside a little bit more often, especially next to Nolan. I would love to see that.
Sure.
Just heard Adam Schefter talking about how we're creeping closer to the Steelers selection at number 83 overall. We're up to 79 here, and the Houston Texans will make that pick right now.
With the 79th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Jalen Noel, wide receiver, Iowa State.
This man is fast. He ran 4.39 at the Combine. Super productive. 80 catches last year when he was first team All Big 12 on special teams.
Brenda, you talk about somebody who aced the process. Senior Bowl, Combine, throughout the offseason, just did it the right way. A dynamite in the slot, 5'10". His ability to get open and show the quarterback that he's open is the one thing that this quarterback at Iowa State, Rocco Beck, loved, because I knew when to throw the football. If you get him the ball, he is electric in the slot, understands how to separate. I don't care how fast you are, can you play that fast, in and out of the break quickly? The ability to show the quarterback your numbers, and get upfield. But the most important thing is leadership. Always talking in the locker room. The people at Iowa State rave about his ability in the locker room to galvanize the team, to set the culture. I think this is a great fit down in Houston.
7 touchdowns of at least 50 yards, most since 1971 for a Cyclone.
All right, so the next selection is in, I am told, that's the Indianapolis Colts, as the picks are coming more quickly than the 5 minutes that the teams generally are allotted, and so the Colts will make their next selection right here.
Here we go. Colts Nation, you know I had to double back. With the 80th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Justin Wally, defensive back, Minnesota, for the Shough.
That's an aggressive corner. Mel, who made 7 interceptions for that Govers defense with 4.4 speed.
Yeah, that's the impressive thing. And Lou, 5'10", 190. This is the one, I think, one of the more underrated corners. You didn't hear much about him throughout the process. All this kid did was break up passes. He had 10 this past year, a couple interceptions, and 42 tackles. The North Carolina game, he was excellent. USC, outstanding as well against Maryland. He was off the chart. This kid impressed with his ability in off coverage, drive, make plays on the football, good recovery ability. He'll come up and make a tackle. Lou, nice football player.
Yeah, he is, as they say, twitch up. This guy is lightning. When he puts his foot in the ground and he's transitioning, he can absolutely fly. You're right, the interception he had against Maryland, fantastic. He will be able to clue, 3-step, 5-step, get out of his break. He's going to tackle, although he's only 5'10", 190 pounds. But he is someone who's kind of off the radar, really wasn't talked about in terms of the draft complex, talking about him a whole lot. But man, impressive tape.
All right, the Bengals on the clock here at number 81, as they have picked up a couple of defensive players, which is what you would have expected considering how badly their defense struggled through all of last year. Record-setting season for their star quarterback, Joe Burrow. Couldn't get anything done on the defensive side. Let's see where they go here in round 3.
Hahn, Wisconsin. With the 81st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Darian Fairchild, guard, Georgia.
Well, he's been grappling a long time. He was a 2-time state champion wrestler in high school. He is from Cumming, Georgia, and he is huge, 6'5", 318 pounds.
Yeah, you talk about an offensive line. Dylan Fairchild, but as a run blocker, drive defenders off the ball. He could seal, showed the ability to create some rush lanes by torquing defenders off their mark. This offensive line had a lot of injuries they were dealing with. A lot of changes. Jared Wilson took over. Talk about Ratledge's injury. As a pass blocker, I thought Fairchild showed good technique. He has a force behind them and the anchors pretty well. So this kid's got talent. He needs some coaching, needs some seasoning. Lou, I thought the ability was there, and I thought in certain games, he looked like a kid could be a second-round draft choice.
Yeah, he was a mauler. Just limited athletic ability for me. I didn't think he moved all that well, but look, you just got to develop guys like this and see if you can get them healthy, get them to move a little bit better laterally, and become productive starters or role players.
The Tennessee Titans are on the clock. They will make the 82nd pick. And then the Steelers will pick after that. Could there be their quarterback of the future? We'll find out next. Welcome back to Green Bay. Tennessee is on the clock. Last night, they made Cam Ward the number 1 pick in this draft. And moments after hearing his name called, Ward autographed his first official jersey as a member of the Titans. You can bid on that jersey and sign jerseys from all the new NFL players who walked the stage last night by visiting NFL.com/auction. All proceeds will be donated to the respective players' high school football program. So again, Cam Ward was their pick last night. They took Femi Oladipo earlier tonight in round 2, the Titans did, and now they'll make their 3rd pick here, 3rd round selection, and then will come the Steelers after that.
With the 82nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Kevin Winston Jr., defensive back, Penn State.
Oh, this is a really interesting evaluation. Very highly touted prospect, played right away at Penn State, started as a sophomore, showed flashes, then partially tore his ACL in the second game last season, working his way back ever since.
So, and he was looking very good to start off this season at 6'1", 215 pounds. He's a stud now. He's a do-it-all type of safety. He can play the star or the slot position. He can play a linebacker position, meaning on the strong side going up against tight ends. He can play in split safety looks. He can play in the middle of the field, and he can tackle and run. He plays with great competitive hustle and effort. And then he had the injury. He looked better in 2024 than he did in 2023. Looked faster, more nimble, more fluid. He was off to a great start. This is a good pickup. They get him healthy. This is a very, very good pickup.
Okay, so now here comes a fascinating moment in this draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers, we thought they might take a quarterback in the first round. They did not. They didn't have a second-round pick. They traded that for DK Metcalf. They've waited all the way to here, and we are at number 83 in the third round, and many of the quarterbacks we expected are still on the board. Let's find out if this will be the moment as the Steelers make their pick at 83.
Thank you very much. With the 83rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers, looking to be dominant once again, select Caleb Johnson, running back, Iowa.
Wow. Okay, he's a terrific player. Consensus All-American, Big Ten running back of the year last year. Breakout season, over 1,500 yards and 21 touchdowns.
No doubt. Green, this is a big back. 6'1", 224 pounds, and he runs big. He plays big. He's got good vision. To me, he's a one-cut runner. The patience to stay patient and see the hole and then put that foot in the ground. And once I put it in the ground, I get downhill. Doesn't always need a hole. He's got the power to make his hole. The ability to lower his shoulder. He's got to get a little bit better catching the football. Didn't like the way he caught the football. But overall, from a running standpoint, I love the physicality, how hard, how tough, the nasty, the rugged yards he was able to get.
Well, he had a run of 40 or more yards in 6 games. Pass protection, pass blocking. That needs to improve your last line of defense. Caleb Johnson needs to work on that. Go about the catches. He only had 7 career catches. This year he did have 24. Keep improving, get more experience in that area, more comfortable catching the football. But as a runner in that offensive scheme, in that blocking scheme at Iowa, he was outstanding this year.
One begins to wonder, is Shedeur Sanders going to get drafted tonight at all?
There aren't many more teams, Greeny.
This is turning into quite a stunning development. There's really no way to undersell that. Okay, on we go. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the next selection.
We got another hot one, Tampa Bay. We burning hot right now. With the 84th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Jacob Parrish, DB, Kansas State.
Okay, it all starts with the speed. He won the Kansas State titles in the 100 and 200 meters in high school, so he is lightning fast. And my favorite note on any player, Mel, he was born on February 29th, 2004, so he has only celebrated 5 birthdays.
I'll tell you what, when you look at Jacob Parrish, he played outside. He's going to be a slot corner in the NFL, no question about that. When you look at Jacob Parrish, he was a feisty kid, Lou. He will get after you. He is a kid who has got an aggressive football player, tough, hard-nosed, battle-tested. He'll come up and hit you as he showed there, like a steal in coverage as well, Lou.
Yeah, he's just super quick, super competitive. They blitz him off of the corner from the slot position. He can play both. He can play both at 5'9", 191 pounds with his kind of competitive toughness. And with his change of direction skills, it's really where he's ideally suited to play. But this is a nice pickup here in the 3rd round with a guy with those kind of movement skills and inside-outside versatility. Todd Bowles will find a spot for him and will utilize him accordingly because he's got the makeup and the physical skills that you want.
The Kansas City Chiefs will make the next selection here. We're up to pick number 85 as we work our way through round number 3. With compensatory picks, we'll have 102 selections before our night is over.
The New England Patriots have traded the 85th pick With the 85th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Noel Williams, defensive back, California.
Transfer from UNLV, consensus All-American last year with 7 interceptions.
Yeah, this guy's a big corner, 6 foot, 200 pounds, 4.46 in the 40-yard dash. All those interceptions, DBUs. He's a guy who can play in the slot, but he had 785 snaps outside at corner. He's just big, long, he's smooth, has good speed, very good press man skills, pacing at the line of scrimmage, great pad level, good hips. He's just opportunistic as far as being in the right place at the right time with very good finishing skills here. You see, just pin the wide receiver to the boundary, go up and high point the football. Here you're going to see him with his rear end turn to the sideline, gluing the quarterback, just reading the play out. Cam Ward taking some chances, trying to throw the football past across the field. He's going to be the guy who's going to be in the right place at the right time, and then just return it for a pick 6. I got to see Noel at the end of the season this year. They loved him out there at Cal. Does everything right. Really worked hard to get himself in position to be drafted high here in 2025. Kansas City stockpiling defensive players again on that side of the ball. They've done a nice job of developing defensive backs.
Will stay in their division, the AFC West, as we continue. The Los Angeles Chargers at pick number 86 next from Green Bay. Back in Green Bay with a look at Mel's best available, brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Tell you what, Shedeur makes no sense to me. I mean, we could go through 102 picks end today without Shedeur Sanders being picked. That's nonsensical. This kid should have been a first-round draft choice. Jared Wilson, about a center still on the board. No centers have been taken yet. Xavier Watts, 13 career receptions, outstanding ball skills. Jalen Milroe, if he was more consistent throughout the year, he would have been a much higher pick than Y.A. Black. Not many guys that big, 6'6", 330 pounds. They can play that nose tackle spot, occupied. Kind of a throwback to the 80s, 90s. Y.A. Black is unique to this draft. He'll be a nice pick, and he'll help the defense at that nose tackle spot.
Here's the Chargers next.
It really is an honor to be able to do this. I want to thank my Chargers family for allowing me to do this. I'm really grateful. With the 86th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Jamari Caldwell, D-tackle, Oregon.
Jamari Caldwell is a great story of perseverance. Started out at 2 different community colleges, wound up at Houston for 2 seasons, and last year at Oregon, where he started all 14 games at 332 pounds.
Yeah, you talk about the size, Green. He's 6'2.5", 330-some pounds. He clogs up the middle. Like, that's the best thing that he does. Takes up space in there, uses his hands a little bit better, and sheds blocks. He's got to become a better pass rusher. 0 sacks recorded in 2024. So right now, he only has 2-down flexibility. If he ever wants to get on the field on 3rd down, he's going to have to become a better pass rusher. But if you're looking for a guy to clog the middle up, to get some pocket push, to bull rush and collapse the pocket where your edge guys can get off the edge and turn the corner, he can do that. Better run player than pass rusher currently at this point in his career.
All right, you just heard it get a lot louder behind us here, and that is because the hometown Green Bay Packers are back on the clock. They'll make their 3rd-round selection. They took Matthew Golden, the wide receiver, last night. They took offensive tackle Anthony Belt, so they've gone offense on consecutive picks. Mel, what are we looking at here with Green Bay?
Well, they keep trying to help their quarterback, Jordan Love. That's what they're trying to keep doing here, Greeny, and that's the bottom line. You look at an opportunity to get some versatile players on this offensive side. That's what we've seen today. We've seen guys help out on special teams. Jalen Noel was a nice pick where he was coming out of Iowa State. There's still pretty good wideouts on the board.
We expected there to be a lot of wide receivers selected tonight. There have been a few. We thought we'd see some more running backs. We've seen a handful of those as well. A lot of defensive backs have been selected in the last half hour or so, including a couple of back-to-back corners in Noah Williams and Jacob Parrish. So again, the fans here so excited to have this draft in Green Bay. We've been here all week, and just the spirit in this city has been remarkable. There are very few things that go together better than Green Bay and football. And so here come the Packers and some of their great legends making their way onto the stage.
Thank you very much. And welcome to Green Bay, everybody. With the 87th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select
Savion Williams, wide receiver, Texas Christian.
Out of TCU. Crowd loves it. He was a high school quarterback in Marshall, Texas. Switched to wide receiver at TCU, contributed a big way in the running game as well. He can do a lot of different things.
Love this kid's versatility. Wildcat quarterback this year. He's only about 51 carries, 322 yards. He would just stampede people. He's 6'4", 222 pounds with 4.48 speed. Now, as a receiver, he's not natural catching the football. Body catch is a little too much for me. He's got a little Brashad Perriman in him, but he got better, I thought, as the year went on. He's Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson would be the comp. He's returned kicks. He's been effective there. I thought he got better, more comfortable, extend, catch ball with your hands, body catch a little too much, as I said. But he's a versatile chess piece, Lou. Yeah. This kid's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, he's the guy you just need to get the ball in his hands quickly, right? I mean, you see him there go up and elevate, take the ball out of the air, but you're right. The hands were inconsistent. But down in the red zone, he's going to be a problem. You put him in at Wildcat quarterback there, or just put him at quarterback and run quarterback power, quarterback counter, zone reads. He had like a Tim Tebow-like jump pass where he fakes the quarterback draw or quarterback power and then just lost the ball over the defensive line for a touchdown. He's got a lot of multi-purpose type of ability, and they'll find real creative ways to use him up here in Green Bay. It's a good pick. It's a good value pick here in the third round.
Lou, he's a beast with the ball in his hand.
No doubt.
I mean, they were talking about how he runs through tackles.
No doubt.
I mean, he's 6'4", 222 pounds. He's physical. He's tough. He's an aggressive kid. I'll tell you, he was a heck of a player for TCU this year.
Jacksonville is next as round 3 continues.
Here come that tail in black, baby. Duval. With the 88th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Caleb Ransall, DB, Tulane.
Caleb Ransall played 3 seasons at Troy before finishing with 1 at Tulane. Played primarily at nickel corner, and he is fast. Ran 4.33 at the combine.
Wait, then, Lou, you like Caleb Ransall. Caleb Ransall athletically, in terms of recovery speed, unlike any other, and he will. He has got some fightness to his game as well. The way he can break on the football, the talent's there. The defensive back coach is going to have a lot to work with, Lou.
Yeah, when you have guys like this who have those kind of measurables, who have nice movement skills, they're aggressive, they're going to come down the line of scrimmage, put their pads on people, aren't afraid of the physical aspect of the game. That's what gives you the ability to go ahead and play in sub and not be worried about teams running the football on you, a guy getting mismatched against a physical slot receiver. These are kind of people that you want so you can play your multi-DB packages on defense.
Just wanted more production out of a kid with that talent.
Yep.
Jaguars have made 2 selections so far, and we'll continue in Green Bay in 30 seconds after this word from Thrivent.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. We use money as a tool to help all the people we hold in our hearts. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we care about. At Thrivent, we help you plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more.
We continue in Green Bay, and the Jaguars are on the clock again. They have consecutive picks here in the third round at number 88 and 89. After taking the cornerback Caleb Ransall, they turn right back around and will make another selection. Then after making the huge and shocking trade last night, moving all the way up from 5 to number 2 to take the Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. That was the way our draft began, with a bang last night, and on we go here. Deep into round 3, clearly the storyline has been the star quarterbacks who are still waiting to hear their names called. But again, it's the Jaguars with consecutive picks here at 88 and 89, and they will make the second of those 2 picks right now.
We're going back to back, baby. Duval in the house. With the 89th pick in the 2005 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Wyatt Milam, guard, West Virginia. Got to rep my college, Southern Miss to the top, and my high school, John Carroll Catholic, baby.
All right, Wyatt Milam is a 4-year starter, consensus All-American, Big 12's Offensive Lineman of the Year last year. Started 43 games at tackle, switching from the right side to the left as a sophomore.
And that's the thing, when you look at him, he's going to be a guard in the NFL. That's his best position. But Wyatt Milam keeps that frame between the defensive end and the quarterback at tackle. 6'6.5", 313 pounds. Up as a pass blocker. Technique is sound. I think he can carry out combo blocks and press in that area. Alertness to handle the twist. Effective punch. He got the job done. Now, he didn't allow a sack over the last 2 seasons. So he did get the job done at the collegiate level, but Louis is going to be a guard in the NFL.
Yeah, I just don't know if he has the athleticism and the length, quite honestly, to survive out on the edge. But he is, you're right. Look, I wrote down here, and it's seldom pretty with this guy, but he is a mauler and a competitor. He seems to be someone who would be better suited inside, a little bit in the phone booth, where he can use that strength and that competitiveness to his advantage. I think he'll get exposed on the edge at the NFL level.
Tulane and West Virginia with players selected. Notable schools that have not had players drafted so far: Auburn, Oklahoma, USC, and Clemson. We're back in Green Bay with more of round 3 in just a moment. We're back in Green Bay, and Booger McFarland, we've talked about it. This is what the NFL draft is really about.
Yeah, no doubt, Grady. It's the emotion. It's the lifelong dream fulfilled. I'll never forget in '99, sitting there on my mother's bed. The only time I've ever seen my mother cry, Greeny. I got drafted, and so when you see the emotion, because everyone in this town, in the neighborhood, knows the work that these kids have put in. You see the crowds back there. It's not just the family, it's the people in the community, the friends, the neighbors, everyone that's helped these kids fulfill a lifelong dream. This is what it's all about, because it hasn't always been easy. It's been hard, and when you see the tears come out, you know it means something for these kids.
It always does. It always does. Just look at that. It's just pure emotion, man. And it runs the spectrum, doesn't it?
Yes.
You see guys who just break down. You see guys who are super joyful. What's really cool, though, as a player, you feel responsibility to your family and your friends, right? You want them to enjoy it as much as you are, because they've all been there from the beginning.
All those wonderful pictures from our nationwide prospect cam as we continue in Green Bay. The LA Rams have made just 1 pick so far in this draft. They took Terrence Ferguson, the tight end, earlier, and now they're ready to choose again in round 3.
Green Bay, I'm back. Let's get to it. With the 90th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Josiah Stewart, linebacker, Michigan.
The transfer from Coastal Carolina starred on Michigan's national championship team in 2023, then had 8.5 sacks for the Wolverines last year.
Yeah, here's the thing about him, Greeny. Undersized edge rusher, 6'1", 249 pounds. Mel, I had a chance to work with him down in Tampa. The first thing you notice, the first step, the explosiveness, coming off the football. What he lacks in size, he makes up in the bend and his ability to use his power. The quickness off the edge, can turn the corner, can dip and rip and get to the quarterback. I told him it doesn't matter how big you are. If you have that type of effort and that type of explosiveness, coming off the edge, turning the corner, you can get to a lot of quarterbacks in this league.
He understands angles.
Yes.
He closes exceptionally well. Lateral pursuit against runs outstanding. Plays the game with high energy. Prior to Michigan, when he was at Coastal Carolina, set the single-season school record for sacks with 12.5 back in 2021. Finished with a team-leading 13 tackles for loss this past year with 8.5 sacks. You can't dispute the production. It's been there at Coastal. It's been there at Michigan. Plays hard. Gets the most out of his ability.
You know what he got? He's got like that coil that snaps through his hips and his upper body. When he puts them hands on you and he rolls his hips and gets up into your chest, you see it. He's got it. He'll fit right in perfectly out there in L.A.
The Ravens have gone defense with each of their first 2 picks, and now here they are for their 3rd round selection.
Where my Ravens flock at? Who's ready to fly? Let's go, Ravens! So guys, with the 91st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select
Emory Jones Jr., tackle, Louisiana State.
Let's go Ravens!
He was born and raised in Baton Rouge, started 36 games for the Tigers, all of them at right tackle.
No doubt, Greeny. He's a powerful right tackle, a tone setter. Started since the day that he got on campus. A rugged, physical right tackle that can move people against their will. He's got to become a little bit better as a pass blocker, but when he puts some paws on you, when he puts those hands on you, you are going to be a lockdown. He and Will Campbell were a tandem there at LSU for 3 years. They dominated, and his ability to create run holes for your run game, the physicality that he possesses is something that'll be on display day in and day out when he gets there.
Yeah, left guard spot's the one area they were looking for some help. Yeah, Tyler Booker would have been in the mix. He was gone, so that's the spot. Roger Rosengarten had an outstanding year at right tackle. Roy developed. They coached those guys up very effectively with the Baltimore Ravens. Ronnie Stanley at that left tackle spot. If you have a guy like Rosengarten there, Falele next to him with Linderbaum, that left guard spot is an area that they could look for, maybe with Emory Jones and maybe plug in. Obviously, you look at a young tackle developing there, but I think guard is his best position.
You know what's wild, man? Would you see what guys like Jeff Stoutland did with Mekhi Becton in Philadelphia? When you get guys with these body types who are this big road grader types who maybe will struggle on the edge, if you can get a good offensive line coach to get them to play a little bit lower and unleash that power at guard, you've got something right there.
All right, the Seattle Seahawks are next up here, pick number 92. A reminder that there are 96 picks in round 3, and then we have compensatory selections, so we will have a total of 102 picks by the time we finish round 3 tonight. Here are the Seahawks at 92.
What up, 12s? This is so good. This is a family call right here. With the 92nd pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks have selected my nephew, quarterback, Alabama, Jalen Milroe. Let's go to work, fam.
Wow. You could hear the roar of amazement in the crowd. Jalen Milroe. There was a moment in time in September, Mel, where we talked about the possibility he might be the first pick in this draft. And then the rest of the season happened. He waited all through last night here in Green Bay, waited through the second round, and now Jalen Milroe was going to Seattle.
Who's the head coach out there? Mike McDonald. Where was he? With Lamar Jackson, right? You got Milroe you can work into the mix with Sam Darnold, right? You can do that. This guy's packages with his run skills are going to be what gets him on the field. Passing, he needs to be developed. He's not going to be the guy. Sam Darnold's the guy out there in Seattle. This is a kid who can be on the field. He is a tremendous running threat. You can have defensive coordinators worrying about packages for this kid when you play the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, look, I said all along about Jalen Milroe in particular. If your program doesn't have time, it doesn't have patience, it doesn't have security, then you're doing this young man a disservice because he needs continuity. He needs the continuity of a continuous message in terms of the way he is taught. They just hired Clint Kubiak out there this year. And just look at some of the quarterbacks that he's going to be out there with when you're thinking about, guys like Sam Darnold and Drew Lock and Sam Howell. Look, he'll have some time to really just pick the brains of people who have been through it before. The comfort of knowing that he's going to be in a program that's going to have some stability for the next couple of years, and then to see whether or not he can really harness all that potential and get it to be consistent. Because if he can, he'll surpass everybody that they have out there. It's just going to be a matter of can he lock in and get it consistent and unleash all that wonderful talent he has.
And to your point, Lou, if he can do that, Greeny, he's got a chance to be the best quarterback in this draft. That's how good he is from an athletic standpoint. If he can develop as a passer, that's how much upside this young man has.
The last time the Seahawks took a quarterback in the 3rd round, it was 2012. You know him. It was Russell Wilson, who, of course, is now with the New York Giants. And so it just has to be said, obviously, it's one of the storylines here at this point. Shedeur Sanders, who is number 1 on your big board amongst the quarterbacks, and almost everyone expected to be a first-round pick, will now be no better than the 5th quarterback selected in this year's draft.
Well, we've said, pocket passers, old-school traditional pocket passers, have to prove themselves to the NFL. The NFL doesn't go crazy over those kind of guys. They really haven't. They jumped at the opportunity to take those quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, people were debating Ryan Leaf. Bill Polian took him. They said, I had calls, people saying, well, he should be a 3rd-round pick. This was Peyton Manning. So Shedeur Sanders, I got the same thing. I fought it, but I had to fight it a lot, right? With the calls coming and say, no, he's not. Yeah, he's not that, because he's not 6'3", 230, doesn't have the rocket arm, doesn't run 4.6. Can't change that. But to have a quarterback with the kind of ability he shows, under duress, accurate, decision maker, tough. This to me is about what I think they perceive as, you talk about cocky or confident, arrogant or charismatic, okay? Leadership. There's not going to be a show. There's not going to be a circus with Shedeur Sanders. Deion Sanders was one of the hardest working players in the history of this game. He brought with him a great work ethic. He was loved in every locker room. Atlanta Braves clubhouse, by the way. Shedeur Sanders will be the same thing. He will galvanize. And whatever perception's out there, I don't know what people are thinking is going to happen when Shedeur Sanders is brought to your football team, except he's going to work. He's going to have all those players going to rally around him. He's going to be a hell of a quarterback in this league, and he will cause a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of anguish for the teams that pass on him, because he's going to come in, he'll have a chip, he'll come in motivated more than ever before. Kirk Cousins was a 4th-round pick, right? He was a 4th-round pick. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. There have been some starting quarterbacks in the NFL didn't go that early. Now, I don't even want to mention Brady. He had to wait till the end of the 6th round. But Shedeur Sanders should have been a 1. He's going to be a 4. We'll see what happens.
All right, we'll find out. Here come the Saints.
With the 93rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Jonas Sanker, defensive back, Virginia.
He was first team All-ACC each of the last 2 years. He is a tackling machine. Had 107 2 years ago. He had 98 tackles last year, plus 2 sacks and an interception.
This guy's got fantastic measurables. 6 foot, 206 pounds, 4.42. You are right. You must have did your homework as far as watching the tape, Greeny. Jonas Sanker, I didn't see him miss very many tackles at all. When he's coming from depth, this guy takes perfect angles, and I mean, he saws you down. And he's not just a low-cut tackler. Now, he will wrap you up and face you up and put you on the ground. Really good key and diagnose, split safety, whether he's down in the box playing a curl flat, whether he's the middle of the field safety. He's just fundamentally very sound. I couldn't quite understand why I wasn't hearing more about this guy, because I was sitting there watching this tape, and I'm just going plus, 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 plus. This is a real good pick for the Saints. This is a real good 3rd-round pick. His tape was really solid.
All right, the Cleveland Browns will be making the next selection. That's pick number 94 as we approach the end of round 3 in Green Bay.
The 2025 NFL Draft is presented by Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL, and in part by Sonic Smasher. Live free, eat Sonic.
Our nationwide draft cam has a look at some of the prospects still waiting to hear their names called. There's Dylan Gabriel, another of the quarterbacks, waiting to hear his name called, along with Shedeur Sanders, and Quinn Ewers is another. And we've had Jalen Milroe drafted just moments ago. That's the watch party where Quinn Ewers is watching from. That's not him, any of those people in that shot, of course, but he is waiting to hear his name called. Perhaps it will be late tonight. Otherwise, he'll wait until tomorrow. We'll find out. Here we go. The Cleveland Browns on the clock for pick 94.
With the 94th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Dylan Gabriel, quarterback, Oregon.
Oh my goodness. All right, so Dylan Gabriel, Oregon last year, 2 years at Oklahoma before that, began his career at UCF. Incredibly productive, long college career, 155 passing touchdowns over the course of the many years and over 1,200 rushing yards. Dylan Gabriel, a 3rd-round pick to the Cleveland.
Oh, he's a winner. Bottom line, he's a winner. He's a winner at UCF. You'll go back to 2019. They were 9-3 with Dylan Gabriel under center. Think back to 2019, right? Then he goes to Oklahoma, 2nd year there, 2023. He's 10-2. He's 69%, 30 touchdowns, 6 picks with 12 rushing touchdowns. Go to Oregon. He's 13-1. 1. 73%, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 7 rushing touchdowns. This kid throws a catchable ball. He's 5'11", 205, so size isn't what you want. It's been proven you can get away with it in the NFL now and be fine. Timing, touch passer, super accurate, precise with the football. He's got the ability to beat you with his legs. He can get those rushing touchdowns. You're down there as well.
Yep.
Lou,
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot like turns 25 into just turned with 25 years of age will be. Dylan Gabriel's a nice quarterback. Yeah, there's no question about it. But come
Look,
on.
look, smooth in the pocket, fluid, can throw from different platforms, good field vision, smart, tough, good decision making, quick release, adequate arm strength, accuracy over the middle, throws a nice deep ball, anticipation, poise, composure. Sounds like the kind of things that you want in a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like there's other quarterbacks in the draft who have the same kind of attributes,
I think
right?
so.
But hey, Dylan Gabriel, got to talk to him a couple times. You'll love the kid. You will love Dylan Gabriel.
You see this?
You will love Dylan Gabriel.
Named after Corey Dillon.
Yeah.
Okay. Brothers, named Garrison Hurst. Another brother, Roman Gabriel, was one of my all-time favorites. I'm a Rams fan, right? His father, Garrett Gabriel, was actually in my book. Listen to my book back in the day. So there you go. 6'1", 198-pound quarterback. The 1991 draft was Garrett Gabriel. So there you go.
We have one of the most stunning stories in NFL draft history taking place tonight. There is no question of that. Shedeur Sanders sliding all the way down deep into round 3 and perhaps beyond that is one of the true stunners that we have ever seen. In the meantime,
let's get more ridiculous by the minute.
At 95.
What's going on, Wisco? Oh, yeah. With the 95th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 6-time Super Bowl champion, New England Patriots select Jarrett Wilson, center, Georgia.
Out of Clemens, North Carolina, is a great athlete. Ran 4.84, which was the fastest 40 of any offensive lineman at the Combine. In fact, it was the 5th fastest by any O-lineman in more than 2 decades.
He's a talented kid. He's not there yet, though, and he's going to be brought along slowly and developed. He's got some tremendous talent as a pass blocker. The technique is improving. Talking about the speed he has. Runs 4.84, 4.90. The combo blocks, the anchors well. I thought he showed alertness as well for a first-time starter with Cedric Van Granger was starting up till this year. So a lot to work with Jarrett Wilson.
Let's get Shefty into the conversation. Shefty.
All right, Greeny, thanks very much. We've got, as you said, an unprecedented slide, and everybody's trying to figure out exactly how this can be. And all we can say is what we're hearing. We're hearing Shedeur didn't interview well. We're hearing that teams have different preferences, but it's still hard to imagine. It's inconceivable that we're 7 picks from the end of the 3rd round, and here it is. The Seattle Seahawks used the pick that they got back from the Raiders for Geno Smith on Jalen Milroe. The Browns have gone for Dylan Gabriel. In what universe did anybody ever expect Dylan Gabriel to go ahead of Shedeur Sanders? And right now, it looks like we have Shedeur Sanders sliding straight in to Saturday in the 4th round of the NFL Draft.
That appears likely. In the meantime, the Falcons are next up here in round 3.
What's up, ATL? I see you. Real quick, I want to introduce my son, Jonah. I appreciate you being here with me tonight, buddy. We got a trade. The Philadelphia Eagles have traded the 96th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. And with the 96th pick in the 2025 draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Xavier Watts, DB, Notre Dame.
He's a safety that really made a lot of work on this defense in this draft for Atlanta. And for Xavier Watts, we like to talk about ball skills. How about 13 interceptions over the past 2 seasons in South Bend?
Yeah, this guy, he's just instincts galore. He's always in the right place at the right time. Along with 3 PBUs, he had 2 sacks over the past couple years. You can deploy him just about anywhere. He's smooth, fluid, real efficient mover. Is a deep middle field safety, good pedal, good pad level, good eyes, good anticipation. He's versatile. Al Golden last year moved him down in the box on occasion. He's just got good anticipation, good tackler. They tried to keep him in the post primarily, but man, he is a multi-purpose guy. Raheem Morris will deploy him in multiple different ways, but it's the ball skills.
Yes.
It's the ability to really just sit back there, read the quarterback, break on the football with efficient footwork, and then he's off to the races. He is a true center fielder that has positional versatility that's to play a long time in the NFL.
Okay, the Minnesota Vikings have not been particularly busy. They've not made a pick since last night. And so now it appears the Texans have moved into their spot, and they will make the next selection.
It's been such an honor to be here representing the Houston Texans. Got so much gratitude and love for all the NFL fans and all the Texans fans that come out and traveled up here. And the two biggest Texans and football fans I know back at home, my sons, Henry and Benjamin. I love you boys, and I'm proud of you guys. With that being said, we have a trade. The Minnesota Vikings have traded the 97th pick to the Houston Texans. And with the 97th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Jalen Smith, defensive back, Southern California.
And so the run on defensive backs continues here. We've had quite a few of them in a row, and a Houston team that had made a lot of improvement on its offense with its earlier selections now goes on the defensive side of the ball.
5'10 and a half, 187-pounder, rents 4.45, finished the season with 59 tackles, 4 for loss and 2 interceptions. Against Maryland, he was everywhere. Season high 11 tackles. 9 of those tackles were solos for Jalen Smith. An interception in that game against Maryland. Washington game, he had 2 pass breakups and 7 tackles. I like his competitive nature, good instincts, an aggressive tackler. Special teams adds to his value. Lacks that top size at 5'10 and a half, only 187. Ball production, 3 pass breakups, 2 interceptions over the last 2 years. He's spunky. He was around the ball a lot this year. His play improved at USC this season.
No, this is a good football player, man. This is another good. You know, I know we say that a lot about guys. We're saying, like, these guys have great physical skills. You know, sometimes people think, hey, you're not being critical enough. These are good football players here on these first 2 days. Jalen Smith, speed, quickness, toughness, interceptions. It's a nice draft for the Houston Texans. I like a lot of these players that they've taken.
He is the 365th USC Trojan drafted in the common draft era. That is the most of any school. He's the first in this year's class. We're back with the final 5 picks from Green Bay next. As we approach the end of round 3, let's look at Mel's best available, brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott.
Tell you what, you still have Kyle McCord and Will Howard. He talked about the Ohio State dynamic there with Kyle leading to go to Syracuse, Will going from Kansas State to Ohio State, leading him to a national title, and then Quinn Ewers. We also have Riley Leonard, but the Notre Dame from Duke available, gives that running dimension. Great athlete, still on the board as well.
And one of those guys is not like the others, I'll just say that.
And one of them was number 5 on the big board when our draft began. It is one of the most astonishing things we've ever seen. Meanwhile, the Raiders pick is in here late in round 3.
Let's go, Raider Nation! Every meaningful opportunity I had in my life came because of the Raiders, and I'm very thankful. Many great franchises and many great players, but I'm very thankful for what the Raiders did for me as a player, as an assistant coach, even as a sideline reporter. And I'm thrilled for the opportunity this young man's gonna have. At the Raiders, we say, once a Raider, always a Raider. And this man's gonna have a great career. With the 98th pick in the NFL 2025 draft, the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, select Caleb Rogers, guard from Texas Tech. Let's go.
He actually played all over the offensive line at Texas Tech. Started full seasons at right tackle, left tackle, then back to right tackle with some inside experience too. So he's versatile and durable. Started the final 55 games of his career.
That's the whole key to the game, Gritty. That's what he's going to be in the NFL. He's going to be a swing man. He can play pretty much anywhere. He had 9 starts at right tackle, 2 starts at left guard, 1 at right guard. As a run blocker, I was more impressed with his ability to block in space than I was in the driving guys off the ball. Pass protection, question about his ability to hold his own on the edge against those pass rushers. He's going to have to be a guard. That's where he's going to have to be if he has a chance to start in the NFL. As a backup, maybe there you could look at him as a tackle. If in a pinch, put him out there. He's, like I say, started at both right tackle and left guard and right guard. So he has that versatility to be a backup, a career backup type in the NFL.
That's what you're looking for, right? Guys who have swing positional versatility. And when you draft a running back like Ashton Jeanty, you got to get some guys that you can develop. Offensive line coaches. The most important coach on a coaching staff, you got to develop guys like this, because when you draft a guy number one, like Ashton Genty, you got to get some horses up front for him to get the work.
Raiders making consecutive picks here at 98 and 99. So here they are for their next selection.
Raider Nation, we are back. I am so thrilled for these young men. What an opportunity they have. With the 99th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Charles Grant, tackle, William and Mary. Let's go.
He's from Portsmouth, Virginia, which is just about 50 miles from where he went to college. 3-year starter, first team FCS All-American each of the last 2 years.
Very athletic left tackle. I think that's what you're getting. That's, to me, this is a really good pick, because his best football is ahead. He was late getting on the football field, talking about high school, talking about the background as an athlete, the wrestling background, and what he has to bring to the table for an offensive line coach. Look, there's a lot to offer here. This kid, as a left tackle, has a lot of skill.
Oh, no doubt about it. Strong, able to anchor, use those heavy hands to lock out, played in the zone scheme in college. I think, to your point, Mel, his best football is ahead of him. Needs to get with a good offensive line coach that can pull all this talent out of him, get him to play a little bit lower. I thought at times he played a little bit high, but if he can play a little bit lower, there's some horsepower in his body, Lou, to be able to come off the ball and knock people downhill.
Yeah, I just wonder about that ability to play with good flex and good bend and play out of his hips and play strong to his core. I mean, he was really, really high and wasn't able to generate a whole lot of power. But you know what? You've seen guys kind of undergo physical transformations before, especially along the offensive line, because it's such a coaching-intensive type of position. You got to just give him time, see if he can develop.
All right, we have reached pick number 100. We have 3 more to come tonight as we wrap up round 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft from Green Bay.
That's it right there.
Welcome back to the 2025 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
We have 3 picks remaining as we wrap up round 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft. The San Francisco 49ers are on the clock here as we'll make it an even 100 picks so far as we're into the compensatories. 49ers have made 3 selections so far, all of them on the defensive side of the ball. Bear in mind, the Niners are a team that has lost a lot of familiar names this offseason, and so we'll see where they choose to go here at pick number 100.
With the 100th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Upton Stout, defensive back, Western Kentucky.
He's out of Houston, Texas. He's 5'8", and he's fast. Lewis ran 4.44 at the combine.
Yeah, he's just small. But he is tough as heck. Primarily played in the slot for Western Kentucky. They'd move him back to the back end and play a little bit of safety. But as a nickel corner, which is really what his specialty will be, this guy will bring it. He is twitchy, he's fluid, he's got good hips. He's a guy who is tough as heck as a blitzer, full-speed tackler. He'll battle wide receivers in stalk blocks and situations, and he will chase the football. He's got some positional versatility, like I said. You can move him in the back end, play some split safety stuff, maybe put him in the middle of the field with his range and his closing quickness, but he's just small. So I think he's going to be a little bit limited in some of the positions that you can play him, especially when you're talking about on the outside against taller, more rangy wide receivers. That's not the matchup you want. But inside, this guy will get it done.
And so we have 2 picks remaining. The Philadelphia Eagles are currently on the clock. Pardon me, that pick has just switched here. We've had a lot of late trades that have come in. So the Denver Broncos, right before my eyes, just swapped out into this spot. So they'll pick here at 101. They've made 3 selections so far in this draft. Took the corner Jahdae Barron last night in round number 1, and they've had a couple of picks here tonight. The running back R.J. Harvey and the receiver Pat Bryant. For the Broncos, as we await on their selection here at number 101, and a night that has turned into one of the really stunning ones in draft history. Here's the Broncos pick.
Philadelphia Eagles have traded the 101st pick to the Denver Broncos. With the 101st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Savion Jones, defensive end, LSU.
He's big now, weighed 280 pounds at the combine, which made him the third heaviest edge rusher in this class. But he also played inside last year, 112 snaps at D tackle, and he had 36 quarterback pressures.
No doubt, he's a powerful guy, Green. He came out of Louisiana, powerful guy, edge rusher, more of a power player than a finesse player, has the ability to go inside and play over the three technique, offers multiple position versatility. I love the way he uses his hands. What he lacks in quickness and agility, he makes up for in power. If he wants to be on the field 3 downs, you got to become a little bit better of a pass rusher to be able to show some burst to get upfield and some quickness. Right now, he's a 2-down guy, a really good run defender. If he wants to get on the field on 3rd down, he's got to become a better pass rusher.
The two important starters on Denver's defensive line, John Franklin Myers and Zach Allen, are both slated to be free agents after this season, so perhaps he provides a little insurance for their future there. Okay, the Minnesota Vikings on the clock now to make the final pick of this round 3 and the final pick of night 2. They've made only one selection so far. They went into this draft without a lot of selections. They took Donovan Jackson, the offensive guard, last night. Didn't have a second-round pick, and so they've been moving around the board a little bit here in round number 3. And their pick is in, so we'll have the final pick here of round number 3, night number 2 of a draft that we're going to be talking about for an awful long time. Here's that selection.
On Wisconsin. Hello, everybody, and big special hello to my Viking fans. Can I get a Skol Vikings? Yeah. Get used to it. Wow, that warms our hearts. With the 102nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Tashar Felton, wide receiver, Maryland. Skol Vikings.
So they'll have a new quarterback this year. They'll have one of the great receiving corps in the entire NFL, and they add another member.
Ty Felton's a good player. Maryland Terrapin led the Big Ten and set a single season school record at 96 catches. He had 6'1" and 183 pounds. Needs to get a little stronger, add a little weight to that frame, but tops in the conference with 1,124 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. Against Oregon, when they were number 1 ranked, he had 7 catches for 72 yards. This kid is quick out of his break. He can go the distance with the ball in his hands at any point. Tracks the ball well. Excellent body control. You watch him here. He has good knowledge of what he's doing out there in terms of playing his wide receiver position. His eyes locate the football, and he can track the football. He's effortless catching the football, Lou. I tell you, he's a natural receiver. Contested catches, doesn't matter. He very rarely drops a catchable ball.
Those slot fades right there that you see, the quickness off the line, and then the separation at 4.34, 39.5 vert. Nice pick in the 3rd round.
All right, so guys, we have a little less than 2 minutes before we're going to send it to Scott Van Pelt in Sports Center. We have now wrapped up 3 rounds in this draft. Booker, I will start with you. We have seen one of the truly stunning stories in the history of the draft. Shedeur Sanders is still on the board. Your reaction?
Greeny, it's got to be about more than football. He's the best pure passer in your draft. And when you start to see developmental projects like Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel, and nothing against those guys, but they're not nearly the player that Shedeur Sanders is. When they go before him, the only thing you can say, it's more than football.
I told you, these things oftentimes gets very subjective, and it becomes about personal feelings about an individual and whether or not you just like the individual and you like the way they're coming off to you. I have no other answer for it. It's stunning. I have no answer.
I really have nothing to say. I think it's disgusting. That's all I can say.
It is inarguably one of the most surprising and shocking stories that I can recall in all of the years that I've been following the draft, and that is about as long as Mel Kiper has been hosting it. The conversation will certainly continue through the night. It will continue through the weekend. It has been my privilege to be here once again, helping take you through this draft. Reese Davis will anchor the coverage tomorrow all day with these gentlemen here. And so that's going to wrap it up for us for tonight. For Mel and Lewis and Booger and Adam and our entire crew that worked so incredibly hard to bring you all of this action, I'm Mike Greenberg saying good night from Green Bay. Thanks so much for watching. It is time now for Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt. Scott, take it away.
Grady, thank you. Final pick of the third round, Dirty Turf. I see you, Ty Felton. Good luck to you, young man. Hi there, welcome.